Talk. Thanks for tuning in, one and all. We'll be live on the air in, I don't know what, it's about 15 minutes-ish. A little less, maybe. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? This is where MAGA comes to talk, no doubt about that. We've got so many things to cover today. A lot's happened over the weekend, huh? America's back on the world stage as the moral leader of the world, which we haven't been for a long time, right? With this senile old coot Biden we had. But we got everything under control now. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, everyone. Oh, yeah. And when we go live, we'll be taking live calls. I just put the number in the chat there. Let's see. I'm still setting up here. Okay. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, you're all welcome to call in. Okay. We'll be live in about 7 minutes. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Let's see. Hey, guys. Make sure that you subscribe if you're new. We'll be live in a few minutes. I'm just setting up, going over a few things here before I go live. Answering some DMs and going over some stories. We'll be live in 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. We'll be live in about 4 minutes. Goodness gracious. All right, here we go. We'll be live in about 2 minutes. Okay, just turn the phones on. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, here we go. We've got so much to cover today. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and of course, you are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Okay, obviously, we've got a lot to cover today because of the bombing of Iran by President Trump over the weekend, and your calls are certainly welcome on this. You know, I've been watching all the analysis and everything that's been going on over the weekend, and you have, there are some exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, there are two types of people in this country that are attacking President Trump for taking out these nuclear sites in Iran, right? You've got Trump haters and you got Jew haters, right? The Trump derangement syndrome sufferers and the anti-Semites in our society. That's it. And, you know, everything that's been going on with Iran, they keep wanting to, this is what President Trump has done, very likely will be the new way that America handles things militarily. And I want to talk about this a little bit in the beginning. You know, this airstrike that President Trump did on Iran, which was a long time coming. Iran is a country run by a lunatic. This supreme leader that they call him, supreme leader, boy, that sounds like a normal description for a leader. This supreme leader is more than just a religious zealot. He's a complete lunatic, and he's in his 80s. He may be suffering from age-related dementia issues like Biden was, but what you're dealing with Iran and their supreme leader, so far as them having a nuclear weapon or not, it's like giving a nuclear weapon to David Koresh or Jim Jones. The supreme leader is really a cult leader, if you look at it. He's a cult leader, the leader of an insane cult that has a military with terror cells all over the place, too. So, everything that's going on with Iran, they are not a legitimate nation state. Not with this government. What Iran really is, there are a couple of things, but one thing that I've not heard Iran described as by anyone in the punditry over the weekend since the bombing of the nuclear sites, Iran is a terrorist state, right? It's a terrorist state. Their entire society seems to revolve around their hatred of Israel. And I must tell you, I don't understand why they hate Jews so much. I really don't. What's the conflict here? Do we even know? What is the grievance that the Iranian government has with Jews? What's their grievance? Does anyone know that they're alive, that they live on earth? Other than that, what is their grievance? Right? And what is Israel's, I should say, what is Iran's grievance with us? What have we ever done to Iran, right, that is deserving of their endless wrath for half a century? And, as you go on, we have a grievance, and the United States has a grievance with Iran. Israel has a grievance with Iran, and that is they're a terrorist state that's trying to develop a nuclear weapon, and you can't allow a terrorist state to have a nuclear weapon. I mean, the supreme leader is no different than Osama bin Laden when he was leading Al-Qaeda. Would you give Al-Qaeda a nuclear weapon? Of course not. I don't even understand what their grievance is against Israel or the United States, Iran. I really don't, and I don't even know if they do. They're just insane, okay? The supreme leader is a complete lunatic. And there's no negotiation. I mean, you look at their reaction to what's going on, it's completely insane. They're outmatched beyond imagination. Their country could collapse on a dime if Trump made the decision to make that happen. Regime change that term's been used by the president himself and others. They've got the Shaw is around doing interviews, and he's talking about making Iran great again and all this. And if you look at what President Trump did, it kind of reminds me of Ronald Reagan a little bit with Gaddafi in Libya. If you guys remember, but Gaddafi, as bad as he was, wasn't as crazy as the old senile supreme leader of Iran. But Libya was backing all kinds of terrorism taking place in the 80s. And there was a major terrorist incident in Germany. They blew up a nightclub. And if you go to Google this, it was the discotheque bombing in Germany. And there were some American service personnel who were killed in that. And there were other terrorist incidents that Gaddafi was behind in sponsoring. And in 1987, Ronald Reagan dropped bombs on Libya. Even on Gaddafi's house, one of Gaddafi's kids, it was a daughter of Gaddafi's, was killed in that U.S. bombing, and I'm pretty sure it was 87. I remember watching it on television when it was breaking news on the networks at night. And after that bombing of Libya, we didn't hear from Gaddafi again, really, until Obama's Muslim Spring, and he was overthrown. And he was one of the big terror leaders in the world at the time. He had some sense because he backed off as soon as Reagan bombed. Remember that? The French wouldn't let our bombers fly over their airspace. The bombers had to fly around France, and it caused some problems. It was not as successful as this bombing run over the weekend because, if I remember correctly, one of those bombers that bombed Libya went down, and there was one of the airmen on board was, I remember, was from Puerto Rico, and people died. American service personnel died in that Libyan attack, but we didn't hear from Gaddafi anymore. In Iran, they're making all kinds of threats. They're going to shut down the oil routes. America will feel the wrath, and they're launching more rockets at Israel. They're out of their minds. But what President Trump is doing that's very different is he's using these incredibly advanced weapons that have never really been used before, these bunker busters, which I've heard different estimates on the cost. This attack, by some estimates, cost like a few $1 billion. These are very expensive bombs. These bombs are like $500 million each or something. These big bunker busters, I don't know. They're very expensive. But we have powerful enough weapons like this. I believe that these bombs are the most powerful non-nuclear conventional weapon we have. And I'm sure you all have seen the videos of how these things work online, or at least if you haven't, you will by the end of the week, I'm sure, that they don't explode on impact. So what you see on the surface really isn't the damage they do. Most of the damage is deep underground. And when they explode underground, it causes damage that goes very far in every direction. So massive amounts of damage was done that we're never going to see because it's buried. And what's on the surface, as bad as it looks, is nothing near what happened beneath the surface. But if you notice, President Trump there's no big troop buildup going on. We don't have makeshift bases in the desert of some country over there. You don't hear about reservists being called up to active duty. We're not hearing about troop deployments anywhere in the world. Anything that happens with Iran is going to be done with rockets and missiles and bombs and airstrikes and things coming from aircraft and submarines and wherever else. President Trump's not going to go invade and have some house-to-house warfare going on in Iran. But there are so many people out there that, and there's, as I say, you're hearing the people that are having issue with what Trump did to Iran either are anti-Semitic or suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And many, sadly, were doing this for Israel. Even, Marjorie Taylor Greene was very critical earlier in the week. I haven't heard her criticize this since the bombing. So I'm curious to hear, if she has, I have missed it. But I know last week she was talking, there was a vote in the Israeli parliament to have a new election, and of course Netanyahu won that, but only by a couple of votes. And there's a lot of talk in conservative circles, believe it or not, even MAGA people, that we were given faulty information and all this. None of that's true. Donald Trump's not going to fall for that. President Trump has been an anti-war person his entire life, Vietnam, the Iraq War, everything else. And I thought it was interesting when we saw members of the Trump cabinet yesterday on all the shows. They went out of their way to say we're not at a war with Iran, we're just at war with their nuclear program, which I thought was a very interesting thing. Not that the lunatic supreme leader, that registers with him. Now, of course, your thoughts on everything going on certainly are welcome. Our number is toll-free, no matter where you're listening, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I want to talk about the great Mike Lindell and MyPillow. If you have not ordered a MyPillow yet, now is the time because the prices are right. You're tired of flipping your pillow back and forth and every which way all at night? Yeah, well, I don't do that anymore because for a decade or more, I've been sleeping with a MyPillow. Stop all that madness. Stop flipping your pillow and tossing and turning all night. Get yourself a MyPillow. Mike Lindell's original MyPillow is not just a game changer, it's a life changer. It changed my life when about a decade ago I got my first MyPillow because I get a good night's sleep each and every night, something that I never got before. And I tried every pillow out there. I got the foam pillows. I had a bamboo pillow. I had the foam pillows. I did every type of pillow there was. I tried it. until I found Mike Lindell's My Pillow. You know, the patented fill adjusts to your exact sleep needs on your neck and your head. That's why you don't toss and turn. So whether you sleep on your back, your side, your stomach sleeper, you get the perfect support all night long, okay? Sometimes I sleep on my back, sometimes I sleep on my side. I don't sleep on my stomach too much. But no matter which way you sleep, you get a great night's sleep. And here's why you want to buy yours now, right? If you've never bought one, this is the time. There's a special deal going on right now with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The original My Pillow is just $17.98. Pretty good deal, huh? Just $17.98. This is the original My Pillow that has changed the lives for millions of people, including me. Just $17.98. All right. Plus, of course, you're supporting our great program and Mike Lindell, who's a true American patriot who's been standing up against all this cancel culture that's been trying to put My Pillow out of business all these years. You can also order by phone. Just give them a call, toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, for this incredible offer. Again, the original My Pillow, just $17.98. Make sure you use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com. We'll be right back. All right. Oh boy, welcome. If you are new to the program, make sure that you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. Okay. We'll be back shortly, guys. Welcome. Yeah, the Make America Great Again is, you know, I saw a guy at the mall a while back. He had a Make Brazil Great Again, so, you know, Make Iran Great Again. So that's a good phrase that people are picking up and using all the time. Mm-hmm. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take some calls when we get back. It's amazing. Oh, man. Iran is just, they're run by, it's like being run by David Koresh, the supreme leader. He's completely insane. I mean, right? I mean, you guys agree with that? And that's it. We'll be back in about a minute. This is, those of you that are new, this is a radio station break. 30 seconds, we'll be back. All right, MAGA up until the attack. I'm sure BS on that one. Definitely call BS on that one. Cool. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It is MAGA Monday morning. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. And of course, we're talking about the bombing of Iran's nuclear facility over the weekend. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Richie Byrne.
Oh, hey, Richie.
You know, thank God for President Trump. My God, I mean, he finally did what I thought he should have done, and I wouldn't have given him 60 days. But that's me. You know, bottom line is this: this is for all the Democrats, the Jew haters, the Trump haters. This is for all of you. When a country wants to have their own nuclear power, I mean, for their own electric and their own energy,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But for a country to sit there and these people defend them by saying, well, and I don't want to throw it at you, but you said you didn't know whether they had the bomb, or if they had it now. And you don't build a fortress like they did in a mountain 3 miles deep or 300 yards deep, whatever it was. In other words, you don't do that. You're transparent.
Well, okay, I'll tell you. Okay, this is the thing. I said if Trump comes out and confirms it, I'll believe it, and he did, and I believe it. So he did the bombing over the weekend, and this is, you know, the American conventional military is so powerful, and it's never used.
Unbelievable.
You know, and you know they could have handled Bin Laden this way. They could have handled Saddam Hussein this way. And it may not be over, you know. I was talking. This supreme leader it's you know they're trying to negotiate with her. He is like a David Koresh, Jim Jones type. He is or the leader of the Hale-Bopp Comet people. He is over 80. He's probably senile, paranoid, and has dementia. And he's a religious zealot. He's basically an evil cult leader who figures his time is over anyway because of his age. Why not take everyone with him? I saw a story, maybe you heard something about this, Richie, over the weekend. I was watching Sky News Australia, which is the best television news in the world. Sky News Australia is awesome, okay? Not the one in the UK, Sky News Australia. Very MAGA there in Australia. But anyway, they had a lady anchor who was reporting over the weekend that the supreme leader has given up some power to the military. I don't think this guy's given up anything, and I was wondering if there's the first move of a military coup to get rid of this lunatic leader they've got.
Well, I know that their country, they're looking around. You know, Israel, you know, the people are saying, well, it's not our fight. Israel surgically hit their military targets. Israel gave warning to the people in the residential areas.
Yeah.
You could see the difference in the two. But, you know, and then you watch the United Nations Security Council, which should be abolished today. The United States should pull out of the UN immediately, and because it's a useless propaganda machine for crazy people. And I just watched that Security Council. You know who condemns us? China condemns us.
Well, of course.
Venezuela condemns all. Iraq, all of these countries that hate the United States. It's just too much already. Russia, all of them. It's a useless propaganda machine. It's, you know, and they're saying that we broke international law. Let me tell you, some of these politicians we've got in this country, like Cortez.
Yeah.
This is a moron, and this is
well,
one of their big spokespeople.
You know, and the thing, you know, with what's going on with Iran, you know, I don't hear anything about any up and coming person to replace the current Ayatollah, right? It's like nobody wants. It looks like
they say, well, whoever goes in there could be worse. We should never have regime change. How could it be worse? You got a crazy man that says he hates death to America, and he meant it. They're trying to get ballistic, intercontinental ballistic missiles so they could drop one of those babies into the United States. How can you get worse?
Well,
and then now they're talking,
and whatever.
Now, Brian.
Yeah, what's it? Yeah.
Now they're talking. We might not have gotten, because they might have moved all of the uranium before. I mean, now what kind of stupid people? Listen, so we shouldn't have hit it because they might have removed it.
Exactly.
You know, people are just
and how do they even know that? See, I don't think they moved anything, because you look at how Iran is reacting now. Iran didn't think that we would do this. And if you remember on Friday, I was getting calls from idiots here on the phone. Oh, that it's so deep we can't penetrate it. The bombs they dropped, which cost $500 million each, I heard over the weekend, they don't explode on impact. They explode deep under the ground, and they blow everything up so many directions, in every single direction. So far, it's gone. It's destroyed whatever was down there.
Oh, you saw it looked like the atomic bomb went off. They have videos of it. Not for nothing. I'm gonna knock one of our past idols that we love so much, Ronald Reagan. And I remember in 1983, on my birthday, October 23rd, 1983, we lost over 240 Marines in a barracks that was actually Iran.
That's right.
You know, Ronald Reagan actually came out and said they will pay for this. They will pay for this.
Yeah.
That was 1983, folks.
Yeah.
They haven't paid for it since 1983. I don't believe
people forget, the barracks bombing in 1983, I was in 7th grade. And I remember that I remember I was in 7th grade because I don't remember what day of the week the barracks bombing was, but but I remember it. It was on your birthday, okay. I remember October 23rd. Okay, I remember it well because after the Marine barracks bombing, my principal came on the intercom and it told us what had happened in school, like during the morning announcements, and we had a moment of silence. And in 7th grade, the barracks bombing was a big deal. People just throw it around now, but that was Iran.
How about the United States Cole?
Yeah, the USS Cole. That's all. It's all Iran. Iran has been responsible for 99% of the Islamic terrorism in the last 45 years in this country.
100%, right?
Not even partial. Well, I give them 1%. I give them 1% because somebody may go rogue and do something. You know what I mean? But yeah, they're responsible for all of it. And when you look at the Middle East, everybody that they like to say, well, Israel's the problem. It's not Israel. It's Iran. If you notice, the rest of the Middle East we get along pretty well with, even Iraq. Iran is the problem in the Middle East, not Israel.
No, Israel has not been aggressive with any country unless they were hit first or were threatened. And the fact of the matter is that they, from the time that the Shah was in, from the time he came in until the time he was exiled out. And by the way, the one more thing, they took our embassy and held American personnel, military and personnel, hostage for 400 and something days, and that was illegal. And we did nothing.
How much, this,
Jimmy Carter, what do you remember?
He
had the helicopter.
From the American hostages on, even Al Qaeda, everything we've dealt with, 9/11, it's all been Iran. It's all been Iran.
100%.
And this idea that this war just started 2 weeks ago with Israel this war started in 1979 with the Islamic Revolution.
How about the cops in L.A.? They feel sorry. Listen, the cops in L.A. The police.
I'll get to that. Listen, I gotta run, Richie. But I appreciate the call. The rest of you on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll free 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be right back. Happy MAGA Monday, everyone. Now, guys, I want to welcome our newest sponsor. This is Chapter. If you're 65 or will be turning 65 soon, you want to listen to this. Chapter, they can help you with your Medicare no matter where you are in the United states, okay? No matter what one of the 50 states you're in, Chapter can help. You know, when you're dealing with Medicare, it's tough. Why? Because you're dealing with the government. Anytime you're dealing with the government, it's difficult. I mean, look, go to the post office, right, and try to get something done. You know, you need an advocate, and that's what you're going to find with Chapter. And by the way, it's completely free. Chapter, the founders of this company, this is an amazing story. Their parents got ripped off by some pushy insurance salesman when it came to their Medicare time. So they formed this company so other people would not be scammed like their parents were. It's an amazing company. And I got to tell you, there are people, listen to this. Bob went to Chapter. They saved him $3,000 a year on his Medicare supplemental coverage. You know, the reason they can help you and save so much money, no matter what state you're in, they deal with all the Medicare plans. There's over 24,000 of them, and they're going to find the one that is right for you, your needs, your situation, and your budget. Thomas, he's saving $2,000 a year, and that's just on his prescription plan. This is absolutely amazing, okay? They're a team, you know, when you call, you're going to talk to a real live person. They're friendly, they're knowledgeable advisors. They're going to treat you like family. I'm going to give you the number. Now, the number for Chapter is also in the description of the video, so you can give them a call, all right? So whether you're turning 65, reviewing your current plan, or just helping out your mom, dad, or grandma and grandpa, give them a call. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. And again, that number is in the description of the video. 805-754-3033. Give Chapter a call, and they can save you money too. And again, no matter which one of the 50 states you're in, they can help you, all right? And they just joined us last week on the program, and I know a lot of you have already reached out to them, so I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to hearing your experience with them. Let's see. Okay, we'll be back in about a minute. Oh, man. Less than a minute, we'll be back. No, the official name is Gulf of America now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It is Monday, 33 minutes, coming up on 34 minutes after the hour. We're talking about the events of the weekend involving Iran. And Margaret Brennan, she had Rubio on. Let me share a little of this with you.
Are you saying there that the United States did not see intelligence that the Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization?
That's irrelevant. I think that question being asked in the media, that's an irrelevant question.
That is the key point in U.S. intelligence assessment. You know.
Okay, you know, now this, I'll play the rest of her exchange with Marco Rubio, but you know, the thing with, I always point this out, Margaret Brennan is the host of CBS's Face the Nation. And she looks like your stereotypical all-American white girl. She's married to a Syrian. She's married, her husband is a Muslim, a Syrian. And you may say, well, so what? Well, it's very relevant because her worldview is that of a Muslim from Syria. And you hear it every single time Margaret Brennan talks. In fact, this should be disclosed. This should be part of the disclosure. Full disclosure, this reporter is married to a Syrian Muslim. She's biased. She does not have an American perspective on such things. And she's out there defending the Iranian side of the issue with Marco Rubio. It is very relevant. You know who she reminds me of? Remember Soul Man with C. Thomas Howell? Where he pretended to be black to get that scholarship to law school. Remember that? And there was this white girl in it, and she was dating him because he was black. And then they broke up, and she was dating a Native American Indian guy, and she was this white liberal girl who had a fetish of dating in non-white. That's what Margaret Brennan reminds me of, that girl in Soul Man. But these things are relevant. When I'm talking to people sometimes on the phones, and I'll ask them some questions about their background, where we come from, our background is where we get our worldview. And we've got a lot of people like Margaret Brennan that are out there calling the Secretary of State of the United States out on the carpet, and she's basically Syria TV here. I don't know. Are her kids Muslim? I'd like to know. Judaism is passed down through the mother. Islam's passed down through the father. I'd like to know if her kids are Muslim. It's relevant. I'd like to know if she's Muslim. If you're Muslim or married to a Muslim American, and you're questioning the military action of the United States against Iran, I think it's relevant. Don't you? All right, let's play this exchange, though. Marco Rubio did all right.
Are you saying there that the United States did not see intelligence that the Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization?
That's irrelevant. I think that question being asked in the media, that's an irrelevant question.
That is the key point of U.S. intelligence assessment. You know that. Yes, it was. That the political decision had not
I know that better than you know that, and I know that that's not the case.
But I'm asking you whether the order was given.
And the people who say that, it doesn't matter if the order was given. They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons. Why would you bury things in a mountain?
Yeah.
Feet under the ground.
Good point, Marco.
Why do they have 60% enriched uranium? You don't need 60% enriched uranium. The only countries in the world that have uranium at 60% are countries that have nuclear weapons. Right. They can quickly make it 90. They have all the elements. Why do they have a space program? Is Iran going to go to the moon? No. They're trying to build an ICBM.
No, but that's a question. That's a question intent, and in the intelligence assessment that it was that Iran wanted to be a threshold state and use this leverage.
Yeah, exactly. Here's Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, in the room with the president and everyone else. He has access, but she thinks she knows more about the intelligence out of Iran than Marco Rubio. Or even Trump, for that matter.
That's a question of intent, and in the intelligence assessment that it was that Iran wanted to be a threshold state and use this leverage.
Exactly.
March assessment, and that's why I was asking you if you know something more from March.
That's also an inaccurate representation of it. That's an accurate representation of it. That's not how intelligence is read. That's not how intelligence is used. Here's what the whole world knows. Forget about intelligence.
Yeah.
What the IAEA knows. They are enriching uranium well beyond anything you need for a civil nuclear program. So why would you enrich uranium at 60% if you don't intend to one day use it to take it to 90 and build a weapon? Why are you developing ICBM? Why do you have 8,000 short-range missiles and 2,000 to 3,000 long mid-range missiles that you continue to develop? Why do you do all these things? They have everything they need for a nuclear weapon. They have the delivery mechanisms.
She's getting very frustrated. Isn't she? Oh, she's losing it.
Enrichment capability. They have the highly enriched uranium that is stored.
Yes.
That's all we need to see.
Right. Well, and that's
Especially in the hands of a regime that's already involved in terrorism and proxies and all kinds of things around. They are the source of all.
yes, and no one's disputing that. I'm not doing that here. And they were censured at the IAEA for that enrichment and for violating their non-proliferation agreements. I was simply asking if we had intelligence that there was an order to weaponize, because you said weaponization ambitions.
Well, we have intelligence that they have everything they need.
We got to wait for them to drop it. And here's another thing. By the way, they did inform Congress. It came out last night that right before the bombing of Iran, they told Schumer. Schumer is the senior Democrat in the Congress, right? I mean, he is. He's the Democrat leader in the Senate. So Schumer was told. But why didn't they tell the whole the Democrat leadership as a whole? There's so many things that these elephants in the room that no one wants to talk about. And it's obvious as the day is long. Why did they not fully inform the congressional leadership on the Democrat side of this attack. The Republican leadership was in on it. Why not the Democrats? It's simple. The Democrat Party is filled with spies and leakers. And I mean spies, okay? We got Ilhan Omar, we got to... If Trump would have told the Democrat leadership with all these leakers like Shifty Shift and all, and Tlaib and Ilhan Omar found out, do you think they would have kept it secret? Or would they have told the Muslim Brotherhood and gotten word to Tehran that this was coming? Now, that doesn't mean that they would have been able to do anything about it, but it was really amazing when this first happened, all the reports that came out that they were shocked that there was no leaking. The reason there was no leaking is because other than Schumer, the Democrats in Congress were not told. This is why in Trump's first term, he didn't tell Congress, he didn't tell the Democrat leadership about taking out Soleimani, because he knew that the squad would leak it to Iran. You know, I'm watching these Sunday shows. If you're on hold, hang in there, and we'll get to the calls as the show goes on. And if you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I'm watching these pundit shows all weekend long. And what am I hearing? I'm hearing all kinds of things, right? But I'm not hearing anyone say the truth. He didn't tell the Democrat leadership because they're filled with spies that would have told the Iranians that the bombers were coming. I'm not talking about just leakers. They have spies too. I mean, look at this story. It's a national story that the LAPD, I might read it later, where sharing with the Iranians in the community that they're there with them during these attacks on Iran. What are they talking about with the LAPD? I'll go through it later. But no, you have spies in the Democrat Party, and while Iran may not have been able to respond because their air defenses have been so devastated by Israel, and these stealth bombers fly so fast, but you don't want them to know they're coming, okay? Because they could try. That's why President Trump did not tell them. Now, it is, you guys know, it is hurricane season, rainy season. It was raining off and on pretty hard yesterday at my house. What about you guys? Yeah. You got a wet spot on your ceiling? If you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, even the size of a coin, you've got a leak in your roof. You want to call Tom Leaporta at Leaporta Roofing. You know, Tom Leaporta is a good MAGA guy. He will never sell you a roof you do not need. And he's not just a roofer, he's a contractor, which means under Florida law, he's able to deal directly with your insurance company on the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof, which speeds things up a lot. You may not have to hire an adjuster. You know, I had to hire an adjuster once. Oh my goodness. It took me about a year or so to get the money from the insurance company. Then I had to give 20% of it to the adjuster. So, and I still had to get a new roof, so I had to come up with 20% out of my own pocket because I gave it to 20% to the adjuster. If you can avoid, some people go to attorneys. They hire attorneys to go up against their insurance company. With Tom Leaporta at Leaporta Roofing, you may be able to avoid all of that since he can deal directly with your insurance company. He works on every type of structure, single-family home, residential, commercial, municipal. He can handle the job of any size, whether it's a single-family home of any size, an office building, a school, a church, or a community with over 300 roofs in it. He can handle it all. Give him a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone. And remember, Tom Leaporta at Leaporta Roofing covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Again, this is his cell phone number. You can call or text 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And online, LeaportaRoofing.com. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. Oh, man. I'll take some calls when we get back, guys. Now, let me ask you guys, okay? Let me ask you guys this. Do you think I'm too hard on Margaret Brennan? Give me a yes or no. Or is it relevant that she's married to a Syrian guy? I think it is. What do you guys think? Yes or no? Is it relevant? Yes or no? I think it is. I think it's very relevant. If she was married to a Russian, would it be relevant, right? If she was married to an Israeli, would it be relevant? It's not big. I mean, it's context. Our view, our worldview is based on our life, right? Oh. Okay, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Every opinion we have is based on our life, right? And that's a big part of her life. Scotland, welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll be back in just a little over a minute. This is a radio station break. I'll go to the phones again when we get back. I'll have a new podcast episode today. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I am Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. And just in a couple of months, less than that actually, it'll be 49. Holy smokes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Hey, it's pretty sad that when President Trump's doing a strategic strike against our sworn enemy, that he can't let any Democrats know. But he pulled it off. By the time the Iranians knew that those mother of all bombs were coming, they were gone out of Iranian airspace, heading back to America already. The pre-planning and the execution was impeccable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It makes you proud. They did a great. This was more successful than
some of the UN.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some of the countries saying Trump didn't have the right to do this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them are bought out by China. There's no country in this world. I don't care what they're saying publicly like that. Privately, they're all saying, "Thank God, Iranian's not going to be able to get a nuclear bomb."
I wouldn't be so sure about that. It would depend on who you're talking about. A lot of these liberals, they think, well, Israel has nuclear bombs, America has nuclear bombs. Why not Iran?
because they know Iran has said we will wipe out Israel and America if we ever get them.
But
Everybody
liberals,
knows that they
but a
will
lot of
do that.
liberals think that's okay to wipe out America. They think America's the problem.
Well, no, I'm talking about Democrats. In our
Democrats,
country.
yeah. A lot of Democrats in our country, some of them are in Congress, think America should be wiped out.
I think that every day that goes by, we're a step closer to winning landslide elections in the midterms.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so obvious what Trump's doing for our country.
No doubt.
And
Hey, Jeff, I'm going to move on.
Losing more and more every day.
Great call. I appreciate your call, and I agree with everything he has to say, no doubt. Oh, hold on, wrong line. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Brian? My name is Johnny, and I'm calling from Virginia.
Hey, Johnny in Virginia. What's up?
How you doing, Brian? I was just coming across your channel, and I just wanted to just say this about the topic that we're talking about is what Trump did, the horrible act that he did with Iran. That's what the topic is, sir?
I'm not sure what you're referencing. You say Trump did something horrible? What did he do that was horrible?
Well, I don't think, my honest opinion, him getting us into the war with Iran. To be personally honest.
Wait a minute. We're at war with Iran? I missed that.
Yes, we are. We're definitely
Really?
at war with
What makes you say that?
at war with Iran.
What makes you say that?
What makes me say that we are going to war with our? Well, first of all, we're with Israel. That's
Yes.
number one. Whatever Israel does, we do.
What's your problem with? Oh, I get it. You don't. Where are you calling me from?
Hold up, excuse me.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Virginia. Bro.
You're calling from Virginia. What's your problem with Jews? You don't like Jews? You don't like Trump? What's?
No, I didn't say not one thing about Jews.
Yeah, you mentioned Israel. Israel's the Jewish state.
Okay, I brought up Israel. I didn't bring up a Jew.
That's the same
I
thing.
didn't bring up-
That's the same thing. It's the Jewish state.
Not really.
Sure.
And if you want to be hold on, Brian. Why are you getting all hostile?
I'm not getting
Brian,
hostile.
just
I'm having a discussion with you. So, what did Trump do over the week? You're no. Hold on. Are you telling me? No, I just got to understand because I don't.
But
are you saying?
You're not gonna understand if you don't let me finish my point, Brian.
Let me finish my thought, and then I'll let you finish yours.
Brian, this bombing was not successful at all. It didn't do nothing,
Oh,
Brian.
this is amazing. This is amazing. This is another guy. This is just like Friday. You're calling me. This is. Hold on a second. This is. I got to.
Because you interrupt. Go ahead.
Well,
Brian.
both of us get to talk, don't we? I did not.
Yes, sir. Go ahead,
This is really amazing. You're a very important person. You just said that the strike did nothing. It was unsuccessful. So you have access. So you have access to the presidential daily briefing. You're one of those guys in the Situation Room that got briefed on the results of the bombing. Where do you get this information that it was not successful? Because I saw Pete Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs who said it was successful.
I got it. Brian, can I talk now?
You can respond to what I said.
Yes, sir, I did. Your question was, where did I get the information from? Got it from Israel. Even Israel is reporting that it didn't do nothing.
It didn't do nothing is a double negative, which means it did everything.
It
It didn't do. Okay, maybe. Okay, it didn't do. It didn't do. No, excuse me. I'm allowing. You're not allowing me to speak. I'm allowing you to speak. Okay, I'm hosting the show. Didn't do nothing.
All right, Brian. At the end of the day.
All right. Okay. Listen, guys. You got to take turns. Okay. When we go to the calls, I don't mind people that disagree. Okay. Didn't do nothing means that they did everything. So I think maybe with that caller from Virginia, he heard someone say the attack didn't do nothing, which means it did everything, and he just misunderstood what was being reported. Oh, okay, great. So he may be MAGA now. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. What's on your mind?
There's a delay.
Turn down the volume. Hold on. Turn down the volume of whatever device you're listening to me on, and the delay will disappear.
I'll just take you off of Facebook. There we go.
Okay.
So I don't mean to talk out of school, but I heard that Iran has a bomb that can specifically target Democrats.
All right. That's just You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Sandra from Boca. How are you?
All right, Sandra, what's on your mind? By the way, Sandra, before you start, guys, I know there's a lot of you are new to I know a lot of people listening on whatever platform you're listening on are new to the program. When I go to the calls, we have to take turns talking. Like Sandra here's letting me talk, and when Sandra talks, we can't talk at the same time. So sometimes when I let somebody go, it's not because they disagree with me, it's because they won't take turns talking. And when we're both talking at the same time, people listening cannot, it's mud. You can't understand anything that's being said. And when I go to the phones, doesn't mean that I'm handing the show over to you. I still have to host. All right, go ahead, Sandra. What's on your mind?
Mm-hmm. No, I just want to say that I'm very, very proud of what President Trump did. I'm in complete agreement with it. I feel like the world is a safer place today, even though I know there's a lot of people that may disagree. But they underestimate, I think, what this regime can do. And I think what he did was not only beneficial for Israel and the United States, but I think it was pretty much for the safety of the whole world, actually, because you never know where they could strike. I mean, you just don't know. So
yeah,
I'm totally happy today. When I found out he did that, I don't know. I had this sense of relief that I can't describe to you. I can't describe it to you.
Well, you know, a lot of the people that are taking issue with this have, like AOC, she has no perspective. It's not just because she's a liberal Democrat and is going to disagree with whatever Trump does. If you're a millennial or younger, you don't have perspective that for about half a century, Iran has been in a nonstop state of war with the United States, from the barracks to the embassy to many other things, okay? It didn't just start 2 weeks ago when Israel started bombing them. They don't understand that, and they have no perspective.
Well, the perspective is this. President Obama, which I know they don't want to face up to, gave these people $1.6 billion in cash.
Yeah.
That cash didn't go to the Iranian people. That cash went to further their ambitions on this nuclear program.
Yeah.
So let these Democrats be proud of themselves and who they vote for.
Exactly.
Because that's where the money went.
Exactly.
That's where the money went.
Exactly.
It didn't go for the Iranian people.
All right, Sandra. Good points. Appreciate the call. Sandra from Boca. All right. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike.
You know, yeah, it should matter, in the case of Morgan Brennan, yeah, it should matter who she's married to. You know, they made a big deal about Jared Kushner when Trump first took office in his first term.
That's true.
You know,
where are Trump's loyalties? His son-in-law is a Jew. They still say that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. These people I remember there was a particular person that was high up in the Obama administration that was married to a Hamas or a Muslim or somebody, you know, and no, they didn't make a deal about her or him.
Well, if you remember Brennan, Obama's CIA director, a lot of people don't know this. He's still around. He's Muslim and speaks Arabic. You would never know it by looking at him. Yeah, I mean, you know, Margaret Brennan being married to a Syrian, I don't know if her children are Muslim. I don't know if she's Muslim. But we all come to our opinions based on our life. And for her to take this pro-Iranian position against the Trump administration with the Secretary of State over the weekend, I think it's relevant that she's married to a Syrian.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how Brennan feels about this, because he does do hits on CNN and whatever. But it'd be interesting because he is a Muslim, right?
Yep, he speaks Arabic. All right, now to the last caller for radio. You see Mike from Louisiana, where he talks, I don't talk. I talk, he doesn't talk. That's how you got to do it, guys. Those of you that are new. Okay. All right, Mike, take care. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our break for the top of the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you'd like to call in, the number 888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the top and be right back. Now, guys, I want to tell you about this book. This is the Flower Story is written by one of our regulars in the chat room, and they're working hard to make ends meet. They've asked me to promote their book, and I've talked about it in the past, but you're going to hear me talking about it again. I want to help out our chat room friend. Order your. They're not one of the more vocal people that you see in there all the time, but they're in there. I pinned the link, the direct link to their website for their book in the chat room of the video. And you can also get the link, if you're not in the live chat, if you're watching later, you can get the link in the description of the video. And if you could order that book, The Flower Story, it's a story about a dad and his daughter, and it's a great book. And I have the book myself. So if you just click that link in the live chat or find the link in the description of the video and order a copy, that would be great. The Flower Story. Good book. And I greatly appreciate it, and so would they. And you'd be helping them out. We'll be back in less than a minute. Yeah, the link is pinned in the live chat, and the link is also in the description of the video. 888-465-2631, toll-free call. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Hour number 2 has begun on this MAGA Monday. And, of course, we're talking about the bombing and the taking out of the nuclear facilities in Iran over the weekend. All right, let's just go back to the phones, and then I'll share my thoughts as we go on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Frank from New Hampshire.
All right, Frank, what's on your mind?
So, I'm a Vietnam vet, and I love Trump, but I just don't want to get in a long war again.
Okay, hold on. I'm a little confused. You're a Vietnam vet. You're Vietnamese American, and you're a veterinarian, a doctor of veterinary medicine? I was a little confused.
Yeah, Joe?
No, I was just trying to be clear. You're a Vietnam veteran. What'd you do in Vietnam?
I went to war, man.
But when you were over there, what did you do?
I wasn't frontline.
Oh, okay.
But I was more tactical.
Tactical. What did you do tactically in Vietnam?
Are you questioning my valor?
What did you do in Vietnam? Richie, the bus driver, is a Vietnam veteran. He was a cook on the front lines, actually, right there on the front lines. What did you do tactically? You said you did things tactically.
Are you questioning my valor?
I find it odd. I mean, when I talk to I don't know what's going on here. I just asked you a question. What'd you do in Vietnam?
I don't understand why you would attack me.
I'm not attacking you. I'm asking about you. You called in and said you're a Vietnam vet.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Ping pong.
You played ping pong.
I had a friend named Bubba.
Mm-hmm. What are you, Forrest Gump? So you're okay. Okay, so what is this? Stolen valor?
Stolen valor. Lieutenant Dan lost his legs.
Come on.
Come on. I played a lot of ping pong.
I know. Yeah, I know. I heard that. I heard that line. I heard that line. Yeah, this is pathetic. This is pathetic.
You know what's pathetic?
Really, I'm not the one pretending to be a veteran of Vietnam.
Oh, I'm also not a draft dodger like Donald Trump, you motherfucker.
Oh, there we go. First dump of the week, Mike. Oh my goodness! If you're on hold, stand by while we wait for the delay to re-engage. And you may ask yourself, how did I know that he was lying when he said he was a Vietnam vet? Well, it's just I got an ear after talking to these people over the years. Oh my goodness! You know, most shows they get a guy like that on. They first thing they say is thank you for your service, and then the stolen valor person gets to continue with what it is that they're doing, but not around here, folks. Oh my goodness, that was brutal. Isn't that something? And you know, the thing with the stolen valor, there's a lot of stolen MAGA going on. I've seen over the weekend, and this guy was going into it too. You know, they want to tell you, well, I was, and you're starting to hear this. I was MAGA until Trump bombed Iran. Really? How do those conflict with one another? So, you know, we got stolen valor there on the line, but there's a lot of stolen MAGA out there. People there that are telling you they used to be MAGA, but now they're not because we're going to war for Israel. No, they don't cancel each other out. So don't fall for the stolen MAGA either. All right, the delay is re-engaged. We got through the whole first hour, the first show of the week, without having to use the dump button. All right, our number, for those of you that wonder when I say dump, there's certain words you can't use on the radio. So we're on a delay, and the length of the delay depends on a variety of things, where you're listening, what radio station you're listening to us on. And so when someone uses, and there are more than 7 words, okay, maybe the vocabulary, the English language has expanded since George Carlin, but there's more than 7 words. When one of the not safe for radio words, not allowed words is used, we're on a delay. And when one of those words is used, there's a button, we call it the dump button, and it cuts out it's 10 seconds. It cuts out the 10 seconds before where the profanity was. And it takes a few moments for the delay to build back up. So you hang up on the caller. Before I take other calls, we wait for the delay to re-engage, and the delay has re-engaged. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Bob in Leaporta.
Hey, Bob.
Listen, man, I'm just so proud of what Trump did. Our president is great. It also sends a message to China and Russia that he just doesn't talk. You know, he actually walks the walk. We've seen all these other politicians scream and yell about what they're going to do, but Trump actually does it. You know, he moved the embassy to Jerusalem. For years, people were afraid to do that because they're going to cause World War III. And it's wonderful to have a commander-in-chief that's not afraid and works out for the best of what's right for the world and the American people, not making decisions out of fear.
You know, in Iran, no president has stood up to Iran. It's amazing. They've all been, even Bush, they've all been afraid to stand up to Iran. I don't know why. And I'm not seeing some massive response from them after the attack over the weekend, are you?
No, I don't think they're capable of a massive attack. I think they're a paper tiger. And like I said, our politicians seem to work out of fear. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Well, we showed them what's going to happen if they don't want peace.
That's right.
If you don't want peace, you're going to get the stick.
That's right. All right, take care. Good call, and I agree with everything you just said. All right, let's see here. Back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, man. This is Dave from South Carolina.
Okay.
You look like the type of guy who takes 2 hands to pee because your foreskin's so long.
I don't know why a man like you would know about other men's foreskin so much.
No, I just guessed by the look on your face. Like you have to take one hand to pull.
I heard the line the first time. I mean, you know, I gotta tell you something. I've had over the years, I've had a lot of weirdo guys like you call and insult me. I've never heard someone reference foreskin. But just for full disclosure, I'm gonna no, we'll talk. I heard you don't have to repeat it. But I want to give you full disclosure here, right? I'm circumcised.
Hmm.
Yes.
You don't look like it, but
What does a guy look like who's not circumcised?
I mean, they have muscles.
Ah, okay. Is that the kind of guy you like? Uncircumcised men with muscles? Is that your type?
I mean, yeah.
I figured.
Definitely.
Yeah, I figured so. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's still the weekend for some people. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Ben from Buffalo. How's it going?
Oh, it's some strange calls this morning.
Yeah, I know. You get those weirdos, but they're probably just a little upset because Trump is proving once again that he's the greatest president, in history. He's really established himself with this maneuver, and I find it so funny. I know you remember Obama's red line, right? When it came to Syria using chemical weapons. Well, Trump. The greatest thing about Trump right now is now everyone knows he is not playing around. Like, we all knew that beforehand, but people need a little reminder. And nothing like those visuals from over the weekend of these giant megaton explosions coming from their nuclear facilities. I don't understand how this is not a no-brainer. Iran is like, if they could use it, if any group could use a nuke, Iran would use it. These people are psychopaths. They constantly fund terrorism.
And by the way, they don't need to have, not only are you 1,000% correct, they don't need an intercontinental ballistic missile. If they had dirty bomb capability, they would go out and use that too.
Yeah, I know. They have proven time and time again that no other candidate for using a nuclear bomb is like, Iran would be the number one candidate for using it. They're the last people you want to actually have it. So I thought this was brilliant. Trump actually, once again, he shows that he's a precisionist. The Democrats cried about him being an isolationist when he wanted peace with Ukraine. Yeah, well, guess what? We all knew he wasn't an isolationist, but we all know he's not like an interventionist like the Bushes, the Cheneys.
That's right.
He is a foreign policy master. I know Biden was hailed as some foreign policy expert because he was on the Senate Committee of International Affairs. That's why Obama picked him, because they thought he didn't have enough international affairs experience and whatever. But Trump truly is a foreign policy master because he uses just the right amount. He doesn't over-engage where we get stuck in quagmire like he did with Iraq, but he doesn't do nothing either where our enemies just run roughshod and are able to get nukes or able to do. So it's like the perfect balance. I'm constantly impressed by this man. I know I shouldn't.
Well, what he's done is, when the stolen valor Vietnam vet came, if he was a real vet, I would have talked about the differences. Vietnam was fought like Afghanistan in a way to prolong the war, not end it. And what President Trump is doing, there's no troop buildups going on. No one's being called up who's in the reserves. He's going to bomb them out of existence if they act up beyond this. And we have very high-tech military where we don't have to put men on the ground like it's the Second World War anymore and have more wounded warriors for the commercials. And that's it.
I love his philosophy. It's minimal impact, it's like minimal intervention, but major impact. He hasn't done anything with he overnight, in a matter of hours, he drops very well-timed, very precise, bombs on these facilities, and it's completely handicapped them.
Yeah.
Between his coordination with Israel was doing all that stuff in the days before, where they were taking out all the supreme leaders at once, like the end of Godfather, where he just takes out all the heads of the Spy family at once, and then they hit him with the bomb. And now Trump's like, all right, Israel, you got this.
That's right.
We're not doing.
No, you're right. Great call. Listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. I agree with everything you said. One of our longtime listeners, Bruce, he was in our chat room. I heard from him over the weekend. He commented on one of my platforms online. He met with Jupiter Joe Thomas last week, and he said he's made a lot of money already just by meeting with Jupiter Joe Thomas. Bruce out there, who's one of our longtime listeners, and I remember Bruce. I ran into Bruce a couple years ago. I was driving in Coral Springs, and this guy pulls up, Brian. I'm like, what is going on? What did I do? Did I get in a car accident? I didn't know. It was Bruce. He's a good guy, long-time listener, and he just met with Jupiter Joe Thomas on Friday. That's awesome. Jupiter Joe Thomas offers free consultations with our listeners, and you can take advantage of this free consultation no matter where located in the United States, by the way. And, when I first met with him and he explained annuities to me, I've heard annuities about them for years and years and years. I've heard people try to explain them, and I didn't have an understanding of them until I met with Jupiter Joe Thomas. And I don't know why everyone's not in annuities. Your money's not at risk, and you have a guaranteed income stream for the rest of your life and your retirement. That's what you want, right? To supplement your Social Security, your 401k, your pension, if you have one. A lot of people, they get their pension, and they're shocked at how, not far their pension goes. When they first started that job 20, 30 or more years ago, oh, that's all the money I need. But it's 2025 now. You want a new income stream to add to your Social Security, to add to your pension? Go see Jupiter Joe Thomas. Give him a call. Take advantage of that no-charge consultation. He's going to be in studio later this week, too, by the way. I'll talk to him about Bruce. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just get it off his website, jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back to the call shortly. No, the official name is Gulf of Mexico. It's the official name now. We'll be back in less than a minute. No, you're welcome to call in, Otovia. We are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Of course, we're talking about the events over the weekend with Iran. And you're welcome to call in regardless of which side you're on. Although I don't see how anyone could be against stopping Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. That seems to be a nonpartisan issue, but apparently not. So whatever side you are on that issue, you're welcome to call in. The number's toll free, 888-465-2631. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, let me. So, I'm all in favor of Trump having a third term. I'm curious, how do we get that done with the 22nd Amendment?
Well, if you know what amendment it is that restricts the presidency to 2 terms, you know how to undo it. If you know that, why are you asking me a question you know the answer to?
I don't know the answer. How do we?
You don't. If you know if you know what constitutional amendment says something specifically like that, right? You know how it works, right? With amendments, you know the Constitution can be amended. You know that.
So we go to Congress. We ask them to strike that amendment.
No, you can amend the Constitution with a new amendment to allow a third term or unlimited terms for presidents.
How do we do that?
The Congress, okay, 3/4 of the Congress, right? Then it goes to the president like a bill, and then it goes to the states. 3/4 of the states would have to agree. But you do understand, though, that
You see that coming?
who knows? I mean, Trump's pretty popular. Donald Trump is the most popular president of my lifetime. There has never been a president.
What about his favorability rating? It's not very high.
What is it?
I've read like low 40s, high 30s.
High 30s? No. Who cares about polls?
Well,
How can you say that he just won, excuse me, he just won re-election, right? He just won re-election.
I was speaking.
No, I'm speaking. What, are you trying to steal my act here? You trying to be me?
No.
I mean, you're trying to be me. A minute ago, you were pretending to be stupid, but you do know the amendment process. Now you're pretending to be me. Why don't you just be yourself?
I am right now.
Oh.
I'm asking, you just said that a majority has to vote on the amendment.
Yeah.
Did you say 3/4?
3/4.
Yet.
He just won every battleground state in the national election. He's very popular.
And he didn't even have a mandate, which is crazy.
He does have a mandate. He was just reelected.
No, he did not win 50%. A mandate is over 50%. He did not win over 50%.
Of those who voted, sure.
Yeah, he did not win.
Oh, you're talking about the popular. We don't elect presidents by the popular vote. You know, Bill Clinton only won. Bill Clinton. Excuse me. In 1993, Bill Clinton only won about 35% of the vote. I never heard liberals like you say, "Well, he doesn't have a mandate." He only won about 35% of the vote.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, if he won all these votes, how are we going to get to 3/4?
Because it's like the Electoral College. You don't go by the popular vote. It's 3/4 of the states.
No.
Not 3/4 of the people.
I'm not going by the popular vote. I'm asking, how do you get to 3/4 of people?
It's not 3/4 of people.
Congress?
Oh, 3/4 of Congress?
No. People in the Senate.
In both houses. Yeah, it's 3/4 of both houses. Well, we get more Republicans elected.
You think in 2026 you're going to get more Republicans?
We very well could, yeah. It's possible.
I mean,
would that be a good thing? Would that be a good thing?
Right there.
No.
No. I'm just saying.
I didn't waver.
It's kind of funny that you just wavered.
No, I didn't waver.
I heard
it's
it
possible.
In your voice.
You heard it in my voice.
You
Oh my
wavered.
goodness. I didn't waver.
So bad. You're like, I I think it might happen.
No, I said it's
gonna be
possible.
a
Sure, it's
bloodbath.
possible. It's possible. Sure.
No, it's going to be okay.
I thought you were a Trump guy at the beginning of this call. You're going to pull that back too now? You were lying?
I'm fucking with you.
Okay, there we go. Boom, 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 boom. Second dump of the day. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. You know, I got to we'll wait for the delay to re-engage. You know, I'm going to give that guy one more chance. But if I have to dump you again, right, I'm going to discontinue your privileges of calling the show, which I can do. There's only a small handful of people that we've done that to, but I can't use the dump button every time you call, all right? Okay, our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, 888-465-2631. All right, let's go. Delay is re-engaged. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, hold on, Doug. Let me answer these 20 calls coming in here. Hold on, the phones are ringing off the hook. I might have lost track of what line Doug was on. All right, yeah, Doug, go ahead.
Okay, I lost you. Okay, great. Anyway, I knew that Iran had 2 nuclear power plants, but how dumb do they think we are that they have all these nuclear facilities all over the place? They think, oh, we're not doing anything wrong. I mean, Marco Rubio is others are right. We know that they're up to no good. So we have to stop it, and Iran figured that, the past presidents don't do anything. Nobody ever goes against us, so we'll keep doing it. They'll complain, but they won't. But President Trump, thank you, President Trump, he came in and fixed it.
Well, listen,
you gotta learn from
Iran is run by a guy in his 80s who's, who's obviously not with it mentally. And he's a religious zealot, really a cult leader, because, he's not the leader of Muslims, right? There's Muslims in all these countries around the world where we only have problems with Iran, right? So he's basically a cult leader, like Jim Jones, David Koresh.
Yeah, crazy.
Hey, so we've got this one senile cult leader that is running a pretty big country. That's what the problem is. And this is the deal. The problems in the Middle East are not Israel. Sorry, Candace Owens. They're Iran.
Yeah, 87 years old. If he dies tomorrow, what's the big deal? He's going any day anyway, so might as well take some Americans with him.
That's right. So he doesn't care. He doesn't care about his own people. Yeah. He's going to go out a martyr here because he's so old. He figures his time's up anyway. Every day's a surprise when he wakes up. So he doesn't care.
Show what kind of hero he is to kill as many infidels as we call us. Possible.
Well, it's his own people that he's got the problem with, because it's his own people that he's allowing to suffer.
I'm hoping the Iranian people now will get this guy out of the office and put somebody in there that's a little more moderate. But this is terrible what's going on there, man.
I don't know.
This has got to stop.
I don't know if there's such a thing as a moderate Iranian.
I'm sure. I mean, the Shah was pretty good. I mean,
was he? I was a little kid. I know the Shah's son, the new Shah, is desperate to get back on the throne. But I was telling you guys on Friday, the Shah, he's doing he was on Fox over the weekend. The Shah's daughter just married a Jewish guy. Okay, and I just don't think the Iranian people are going to be accepting of a marriage like that in their family. I just can't imagine. It doesn't mean he's not going to be back in power, but he's going to have problems.
Well, I just thought it was pretty funny. Of all the people, they get rid of the Shah, and all the people, they want his son in. I mean, there's something wrong over there. They got to find somebody who's moderate and fix that country and make it nice. I mean, there's no reason to hate the Jews, no reason to hate America. I mean, other than we're not Muslim. So if they're going to get somebody in there, that country could turn out to be a great country.
Yeah.
But they got to get rid of this guy.
All right, got to run. Appreciate the call. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back. Hey guys, I want to tell you about Chapter Medicare. If you are 65, a Medicare recipient, older than 65, or turning 65 anytime in the near future, give Chapter a call. You know, this is a new sponsor here on the program. They joined us last week, and they can help you with your Medicare no matter where you are located in the United States. You know, you go to make changes to your Medicare on your own, it's real confusing. There's so much going on. Chapter was founded by some people whose parents got ripped off from some pushy insurance company agent, and they formed Chapter so that nobody had to deal with what they dealt with. Okay? They will access all of the over 24,000 policies to make sure they find the one that fits you and your budget. So no matter which one of the 50 states you're in, give them a call. The number for Chapter is in the description of the video, or you can just take it from me saying it right now. But if you miss the number when I give it out, look in the description. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. You can save thousands of dollars on your supplement plan, on your prescription plan, and just in general. 805-754-3033. And remember, Chapter can help you with your Medicare no matter which one of the 50 states you're in. Give them a call. Okay, here we go. We're coming back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. It is Monday, and we're talking about the weekend events involving Iran. You know, the media, they're out of their minds. And listen, this is CNN over the weekend. Listen. That's right. Okay, so, you know, these people are out of their freaking minds here, okay? You know, President Trump, he's got a big part of his administration is from Fox News, right? We know this, right? A lot of people from Fox News have gotten jobs in the Trump administration at all kinds of levels. And other people that have been on TV a lot, like Marco Rubio. Why do you think that is? It's for a couple of reasons, right? I mean, one, you do need people that are good on TV because, you know, they need to be able to go on television and make the case. And I was very impressed with Pete Hegseth's press conference with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. That was really good, wasn't it? And that chairman of the Joint Chiefs, that guy doesn't mess around. He's not like that. Could you imagine Milli Vanilli, General Milley up there? Oh my goodness, what a, you know, the last time I saw a press conference with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the defense secretary was with Milley when he was chairman of the Joint Chiefs with Austin. And I remember during I can't remember what the press conference was about in particular, but on more than one occasion, the defense secretary kept looking to Milley to bail him out. Like he didn't even know what was going on. And what we saw with that Saturday morning, was it Saturday or Sunday morning we had that press conference? I'd forgotten. Was it yesterday or Saturday? I think it was Saturday, wasn't it? The Pete Hegseth press conference with Kane. Yeah, that was Saturday. You knew who was in charge, and it was, of course, Pete Hegseth. But the reason that he has so many people around him from Fox News and people that have been on television a lot is because he wanted to, it was Sunday, it was yesterday morning. I've been watching so much news over the weekend, it's all blended together. I can't remember. Was it Saturday or Sunday they had the Pete Hegseth press conference? I've been watching the news all weekend long because, you know, we got this going on. It all blends, guys. He wants people that think like him. And having, you know, the decision, you know, what they said on CNN, oh, the decision was made by this and that. The decision was made by the president. And, you know, hear how upset they are that they're not going to these career people. You know, what these career people have been, this is one of the reasons they hate Trump. The government really has been run by the bureaucracy. And when they talk about relying on career people, they mean like the deep state types, State Department, CIA people like that. And everything they've been doing, whatever it is over the years, hasn't been working because we still have had the same problems with the same people in the same countries all these years. But Trump has brought people in that he trusts. A lot of them are friends, right? And have spent a lot of time the last 4 years around Mar-a-Lago and stuff. But a lot of them are people that he's heard on television for years supporting him and his policies. And that's just not something you can fake every day, year after year. It's a good thing to have people on your staff who agree with you. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't give you some advice that that you may not agree with, or you have to take the advice, But yeah, they're like-minded people, and that's a good thing. You don't want to have, the government is not run by committee. And in this CNN story, it tells you so much about these past presidents. The past presidents, before Trump's first term, really weren't running the country. They get briefed a lot, right? They get briefed a lot. Yeah, the press conference was yesterday morning. Okay. But they really don't make decisions. They defer to others to make the decisions. Not just Biden with the Autopin Committee, all the past presidents. In fact, even George W. Bush, one of the reasons he brought in Cheney was for that purpose, to run the show a lot for him, right? That was openly talked about at the time by Republicans. And one of the things that they hate about Donald Trump is they can't control him, and he does what he says he's going to do, and they can't talk him out of things or direct him in a certain direction. Now, one of the, and you've heard it on the phones this morning. I opened the show by saying something that has been proven by the calls. Those who don't approve of the action against Iran are either suffering from Trump derangement syndrome and hatred of Trump, or the hatred of Jews. Now, there's crossover, but, some hate both. But that's basically what you got here. And so far as this narrative that he didn't inform Congress, they told Schumer, all right? And Schumer is the senior, he's the senior Democrat. Now, this is J.D. Vance with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press yesterday. Okay, now the reason I shared that, if you were watching the Sunday shows yesterday, which were, the Sunday shows most of the time aren't really worth watching, but we had this major military action, so it's important. Look who the front men are, right? The front men. Wasn't Tulsi Gabbard, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. There were some others, but those were the two main guys. Does it not look like the next MAGA president, the 48th president's going to be J.D., with his running mate Marco Rubio? They seem like a team. My original thought when this started was that Marco's not a second banana kind of guy, but I don't see I don't see him running against JD in a primary. So it looks like our 48th president, the second MAGA president, is going to be JD, and his running mate Marco Rubio. It does seem that way to me. And if you saw them over the weekend, they're both incredibly very competent. I thought it was really interesting too, because this was an unusual thing when it was announced that the president was going to address the nation on Saturday. I was expecting him to do like Reagan used to do, sitting at his desk, but he didn't. He came out down the hallway to the East Room, and I was surprised that he came with the entourage of, JD, Marco Rubio, and Pete Hegseth. Weren't you? I was surprised at that. These guys, they usually come out by themselves, presidents, for something that big. And what President Trump, this is really amazing what he's doing. You know what he's doing, right? This is the political apprentice we saw. He wants people to know that they are there, they're part of this, they're senior guys, they're involved in every step of this, okay? And that was why they had the big deal press conference yesterday with Pete Hegseth, too, because President Trump wants him forward on his own. That's why they sent these two guys out. He's, the left and the Republican establishment think that the MAGA movement is going to evaporate when Trump leaves office. And he's making sure that is not going to happen, right? Because we've got this great bench of people that are up and coming. So, these, but I'll tell you this, Tulsi Gabbard's on her way out. There's no getting around that. And the fact that we haven't seen her in the news after this attack, there was a lot of reporting coming out that, because President Trump has twice said she was wrong, right? He was asked, there was a press conference on Friday, and then there was earlier in the week when he was asked, Tulsi Gabbard said that they didn't have a weapon, and he said she was wrong twice. And I saw even Pete Hegseth got, the last question Pete Hegseth got in his press conference yesterday was about Tulsi Gabbard. And yeah, I know. And Trump doesn't. She's on her way out. Now, I did see that there was some reporting over the weekend that she wasn't in the Situation Room, which that doesn't seem to be true. It's now being reported that she was in the Situation Room, but she's definitely on the outs. And Laura Loomer was reporting over the weekend that she thinks, and I think this is a pretty safe bet, that Tulsi plans on running for president against whoever the Republicans are. So I don't know. She's an independent now. Would she go back to the Democrat Party and run as a Democrat? Whether or not Trump fires her, we'll find out. But he may keep her on board and sideline her just so she doesn't go out there and become a Democrat again, right? The longer she's in the administration, the less likely she is. She's very popular, and and if she leaves and becomes a Democrat again, the Democrats would love her because they think they could turn her against Trump and have her on all the shows and everything. The longer she's part of the Trump administration, the less likely she's able to return home to the Democrats and run against him. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and they got a great special going on for the 4th of July that's going on right now I want to tell you about. But, the thing about losing all this weight that I've lost, and I've lost about 37 pounds, I feel great, I look great, but you know what? One of the things there's a couple of things I get from people. One, people tell me I look younger. They tell me I look a lot younger since I've lost weight, especially when I shave, right? When I don't shave like I didn't this morning, the gray will give me away a little bit. But people tell me I look younger because I've lost weight. Yeah, and you know what? I feel younger. I really do. When you lose weight, you feel great, not just because you look better and you feel better about yourself. You feel better. You have more energy. I have more energy. I can do more than I could before. It's really amazing. And I've cut my coffee intake back by 50% because I don't need that extra pick-me-up. And I really do feel so much better, not just mentally, but physically as well. And now 37 pounds is a lot for me. But there are people in this audience that are losing a lot more than that with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And remember, no matter where you're located in the United States, you can take advantage of this, because they do have tele appointments available. And here's the July 4th special. Listen to this. This is for new patients, 20% off. Now, this expires July 7th, so don't wait. Take advantage of this. 20% off, that's a pretty good deal. And, this morning, I went out and got my coffee this morning, and I sell these people jogging. They could barely jog. They're trying to lose weight. I lost all this weight without exercise, eating foods I would normally eat, and without taking any prescriptions like Ozempic. If I had to eat food that I didn't like or starve myself, because I haven't done that either, or I had to exercise, even if I got it off, you'd gain it back because I would be doing something that I'm not going to be able to maintain, like these runners I saw this. I'm not going to be able to keep running every morning. I'm not going to be able to go to the gym every day or 4 days a week or 3 days a week, however long. I'm not going to be able to eat food I don't like for the rest of my life. Because I was able to eat foods I normally eat and lost about a pound a day without any exercise, now that I've been in the maintain phase for a few weeks, I haven't gained any weight back because during the whole process, I was living a life that I could maintain forever. So give them a call. Take advantage of this July 4th special, which again will expire on July 7th. It's 20% off for new patients. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel, okay? And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I want to play this clip. This is from MSNBC. This just tells you how stupid Democrats are. MSNBC over the weekend, after, of course, President Trump took out those nuclear facilities. Listen to this. Listen to what this guy says at the end. What an idiot.
He says because they chant that
American culture and love American movies. They wanted to talk about all these things. Iran is the most Western nation in the whole Middle East. We have much more in common with them with a lot of countries than a lot of countries that we do have alliances. Well, the huge X factor too is what Ben Rhodes, Obama's security guy, described as what we could have is a
Okay, so what this guy's saying is just because they say chanting, just because they're chanting death to America, doesn't mean they hate us. Because, what they saw with him was a useful idiot, okay? And they didn't know that he had a translation for what it was they were saying either, right? This is the attitude of the left. Now, you may have seen over the weekend, they let out of jail that Colombia Iranian terrorist organizer, Mahmoud. They let him out of prison, or the detention center over the weekend. And I saw he was already over the weekend at a pro-Palestinian, pro-Gaza, anti-Israel event chanting. Did you see that? And I saw him walk out of the jail, and he was wearing, I don't know what that pattern is called. I don't know what the name of the garment is, but he was wearing a scarf like Yasser Arafat used to wear when he got out of the jail. I'm talking about that Mahmoud guy. And he was surrounded by people that were dressed the same. And then I see him this morning chanting, I don't know what he was chanting, at some event against Israel, against the Jews. And I know a lot of people are upset that he got out of jail. But has it ever occurred to you that the Trump administration, because people are giving Pam Bondi a hard time over this guy, okay? Has it occurred to you that Pam Bondi and President Trump and the Trump administration wanted Mahmoud out of jail, not to deport him? There's two possibilities with that. One, they're just spying on him to see who he makes contact with. And he's already at a protest, so he's out there making contact with all kinds of people that they're watching and embedded with, so they might be getting some contacts. But have you ever thought that maybe they flipped Mahmoud? Do you think Mahmoud wants to go back to Syria, or does he want to stay living in the United States? And they very well could have flipped that guy. Has anybody thought about that? He could be working for us now. But and that would not shock me at all. And it's amazing to me that people just, Pam Bondi, Pam Bondi. No, I think this may be going according to plan with this guy. And just, even if he's not been flipped, and they're just monitoring him, could you imagine the people that are making contacts with him now at these events, and the people that are going to this event that he was at over the weekend and other events? He's going to be going to a lot of protests now, and people are going to show up and they're going to start getting a whole list of names. There's certainly in his phone and in his computer and his emails and his text and his apps and everything else. This is an operation. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be talking, but it's obvious that this is some type of intelligence operation going on with this Mahmoud guy, okay? Make no mistake about it. It's incredibly obvious to me. So when I saw him getting out of jail, I didn't bother me at all, because I knew something like this was going on. And then when I saw him at that protest in the news this morning, I guess it happened yesterday, sometime over the weekend, I thought, come on, who would just have avoided deportation to Syria, which really, it sucks over there in Syria, and go out and do something like that? Somebody who has been flipped. He is probably, and maybe he always was, who knows, but he probably, if I were to bet on it, I think it's more likely he's an asset for the United States now than anything else. Because who would get out of a federal jail like that, a federal detention center, and immediately go into a protest down with America, down with Israel? You'd have to be out of your mind. With TV crews and everything? No. They have probably flipped him. But I'll tell you this. Yesterday afternoon, I've been watching the news. I found a new show out of the UK that I watched, and I saw how far the UK has fallen. We talk about how the UK has fallen. It's now a Muslim country, and they're trying to do that here, right? And if Kamala would have been elected, maybe they would have been successful. I'm watching this new show. It's on Netflix, and it's a police show out of the UK. and it's called Office Q, something Q. And it's about a team of ragtag policemen, detectives who are looking for this missing woman. And it's a new show out of the UK. It's on Netflix, and it's so sad to watch. It's so sad to watch. The main character is a guy who was on Downton Abbey. I don't know his name, but he was on Downton Abbey, and he's this lead detective. And he puts together this team of people that aren't even cops. They're like a secretary, an IT expert. And he's got this guy that he brings in who's his IT expert. And of course, he is Muslim, and he's from Syria. And he was a cop in Syria. And he's not even the star of the show. The star is this guy from Downton Abbey. That's why I like police shows. And I thought, okay, I'll watch it. You know, and this guy from down there, I don't know his name. He's a good actor. So I said, I'll watch this. You know, take a break from the war for a little while. And spoiler alert. Do you guys mind? Can I do a spoiler alert on the on this show on Netflix? Okay, here it is. Okay, you've been warned. It's a good show. I'm not gonna get into the details of the plot because it's unimportant. But guess what? Who solves the crime every step of the way during the show? The main guy, the star from Downton Abbey, the white British guy? No, the Muslim from Syria. He was a cop in Syria, right? Which, under Assad. But he's the best cop in the... Even though he's not a cop, he's an IT guy. He's better than any cop that Scotland Yard has, and he solves the crime every step of the way. And I told him, I said, you're not going to believe this. England's fallen. They can't put a TV show on without having a hero Muslim in it anymore. And the Englishmen, police officers, they're not doing anything. The Muslim guy solves the whole crime from the beginning to the end, the whole series. The secondary character, he's the hero of the show. Spoiler, sorry. Yeah. But can you really spoil something that already sucks? You know. And it shows you that England has fallen. When they're doing things like that, England has fallen. And this country almost did. If it was not for the re-election of Donald Trump, we would have been gone too. And, you know, this story out of the LAPD, which you know, it's not the LAPD, it's the LA County Sheriff's Office. You know what, I don't have time to go through this now. But did you see what the LA County Sheriff's Office posted on X about the bombings in Iran? They're trying to do to America what's already happened to the UK. Make us part of the Caliph. So anyway, after the top of the hour, I'll go through this. This is really scary and shows you that President Trump did the right thing sending the Marines in and federalizing the National Guard and saving Los Angeles. Because I'm in shock. I don't even know why they're commenting on the bombings. But we'll get to that when we get back. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. If you're on hold, hang in there. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back with your calls after this. Okay. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to put you on hold. I'll pick you up in just a minute. All right, you there, Steve?
Yes.
All right, we'll be back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
So if this happens where somebody...
Hold on. Everybody can hear. Steve, are you there?
Just ignore it.
Oh.
I don't know. Am I there?
Yeah, you're there.
Tell me.
You're there. Yep, you're there. I just picked you up.
What are we starting with?
Well, Iran. Just hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. We'll be back. Less than a minute, we'll be back.
Okay. Louis.
Hold on.
What day is it?
Monday.
Okay.
Hold on. Stand by. All right, the third hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, so we had a big weekend, Steve. Iran got bombed.
It was a crazy weekend, no question of that.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I was watching when we heard what happened. I put on Fox, and I watched Hannity on Saturday night. You know, Hannity and Levin were on together before...
Right, I saw a lot of it.
Before the president came out. I got to tell you, there are no two guys on television who love themselves more than Hannity and Levin. I got to tell you. But anyway, I want to share this post on X. Did you hear this thing about the LA County Sheriff's Office?
No.
This is so bizarre. Now, they have deleted this and put something else up since. But just to show you how close we came to losing, hold on. Just to show you how close we came to losing our country if Trump would not have been reelected, okay? Listen to this. Now, the LA County Sheriff's Office put out a statement on X about the bombings of the nuclear facilities in Iran, which I've never heard of a local police department commenting on military action overseas. Listen to this. LA County Sheriff's official statement on their X. Our hearts go out to the victims and families impacted by the recent bombings in Iran. This is the LA County Sheriffs. Who are the victims and families impacted by the bombings in Iran? The nuclear scientist? I couldn't believe. I thought, when I first saw this, I thought it was fake. I thought, oh, they got some AI generated thing. This is the LA County Sheriff's Office. Our hearts go out to the victims and families impacted by the recent bombings in Iran. While this tragic event occurred overseas, taking out the nuclear facilities, right? The Los Angeles... Isn't this crazy? The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is closely monitoring the situation alongside our local, state, and federal partners. At the moment, there are no known threats to LA County. However, out of an abundance of caution, we are increasing patrol checks at places of worship and other sensitive locations throughout the county of Los Angeles, meaning they're sending extra units to mosques to protect. The Muslims are the victims here. This is insane. The safety and security of our communities remain our top priority. We will continue to assess and respond to any developments as they arise. If you see something, say something. LA County Sheriff, official statement. I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, thank the Lord that the president sent out the Marines and federalized the National Guard in California and saved Los Angeles.
That's for sure.
But this is what I call the Obama effect. People don't realize, this is scary. Obama became president 17 years ago. Can you believe it? Almost 20 years ago. And it's crazy. And Obama, you look back at the 8 years of Obama, other than the destruction of the private healthcare industry with Obamacare, a lot of people think he didn't do too much. He did. It was just behind the scenes. He Islamified so many aspects of American society that we don't even realize it. And what happened here with the LA County Sheriff's Office, they've deleted that post, by the way, and put something else up because they got a lot of feedback right away. But the LA County Sheriff's Office outed themselves as some Muslim organization. And I imagine there's other police departments in other major cities and counties throughout the country that have been Islamified too. But this is the Obama factor in this. It's pretty scary stuff. All right.
It's very scary is the right word.
Yeah, exactly. The victims of the bombings in Iran, we bombed a nuclear facility. Who were the victims?
Really?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Maybe the LA County Sheriff should put out that, don't attack the Marines or the National Guard. How about that? Or the police. All right, you want to take some calls?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. To the phones, we shall go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Steve. This is Kim. So you've been talking a little bit about Israel and anti-Semitism, and I was wondering, have you been following the developments with Project Esther?
What's Project Esther?
So the American Heritage Foundation, right, the authors of Project 2025, they have another project called Project Esther. And Project Esther is about criminalizing critique of Israel.
Criminalizing what?
Critique of Israel. So criticism of the Israeli government.
Well, even if that's true,
that
you say the Heritage Foundation. So what?
Right. So of course, 2025, we're seeing a lot of things from.
No. What power does the Heritage? I haven't heard anybody mention the Heritage Foundation in a long, long time. What effect?
Project 22 and 25, whatever, all that stuff. I haven't heard that either.
Yeah. So what is who cares what the Heritage Foundation says about anything?
Right. So you don't agree with that. You don't agree that criticism of the Israeli government should be a felony or people should be ostracized.
No credible American believes that.
Okay.
It's America. You have freedom of speech. And even if what you said is true, which I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Why, if what you said's true, why do you think the American Heritage Foundation would release such a stupid thing?
Why they would say? Well,
if what you said is true, I've not heard this before, but why would they do something like that? Say something like that.
Okay, well, I need to look it up. It's Project Esther.
By the way, no. Hold on a second here. What kind of accent do you have?
What does that? I don't know. What does that mean?
You have an accent.
American accent?
No.
Yeah, I have an accent.
You do not have an American accent.
Traveling around.
You do not have an American accent.
Okay.
I'm hearing a tinge of a foreign accent. Where are you from originally?
So we talked a little bit before. I grew up in the Caribbean.
Okay, the Caribbean, the Virgin Islands. Okay, so okay, so you've got a Virgin Islands accent. Okay, so the American Heritage Foundation. I don't know if what you said is true, but let's just say it's true. Why would they release a stupid thing like that? Okay, I'll give you another example. Let me see if we can, since you're black, right?
I'm not. I don't know what you mean. That gets they did. It's on their YouTube.
No. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Let me take it away from that. The NAACP has not invited President Trump to speak at their annual convention. It's the first time the NAACP has not invited the sitting president in their 100-year history. Okay, so why did they not invite Trump, the NAACP? They've invited him before, but they've invited every president, even members of the Klan like Truman, to speak. Why did the NAACP? It's the same thing as the Heritage Foundation. Why did the NAACP not invite Trump to their annual convention? Why do you think?
Right, so the reason I asked about this is because it sounded like last week you were saying that people who criticize.
Do you have? Let me
Israel,
ask you. Before I give our time, do you have a learning disability or something? Because I keep asking you questions and you keep going back to something. Do you have a difficult time processing information?
So this is what I don't understand, because it sounds like your whole objective is to be in service of Israel, and is that?
No. Oh my. Back. No. Listen.
Right?
No. Hold on a second.
What do you say, servant of Israel?
The reason he says our whole objective,
Does he say
Steve.
servant of Israel?
He says our whole objective is to be in the service of Israel. That's what he just said.
Well, Brian, you had a quote from the Bible to that effect.
I said the land of Israel.
Off the top of your head.
I said the land of Israel belongs to the Jews. We know this because the Bible tells us so. God gave the land of Israel to the Jews. Yes.
That's not the quote, Brian. The quote was, those who bless Israel.
Well, hold on. This is the most bizarre conversation I've ever listened to.
Well, because you're talking, we got an anti-Semite on the line. That's why.
I'm not an anti-Semite. That's just, it's silly.
You said we're controlled by Jews. You said that Steve and I are controlled by Jews.
That's not what I said. That's
Sure.
not what I said at all.
You said that your whole objective is to be in the service of Israel.
Well, that's what it's. I mean, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but is that not what you said when you said
No.
those who bless Israel to be blessed?
No. I'm not in the service of Israel.
But, okay, so what does that mean to be blessed? Do you believe that?
Listen, the reason, getting back to the original thing, that with the hair.
Back to the planet Earth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm getting a headache talking to you. The reason that the Heritage, if what you said is true about this Project Esther, I don't even know if it's true, that why would the Heritage Foundation release a stupid thing? Why would the NAACP not invite Trump when they've invited every president in the last 100 years? It's because both of these organizations, nobody talks about them. And these are big organizations that have people that earn big money working for them, right? So they do things so that people will talk about them so they can raise more money. The NAACP and the Heritage Foundation are irrelevant organizations. Nobody cares what the Heritage Foundation says about anything, and nobody cares what the NAACP says anymore. So these organizations are doing things to go viral, and they have useful idiots like you to do the promotion and try to get the word out so they can raise money.
We're going too fast for you, sir?
Huh? What?
All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, my goodness.
Thanks for your call.
Oh, my goodness.
Holy cow. His brain has been, how do you say, laundered?
Yeah, lobotomized. I mean, he's just, he is just out of it. Oh, my goodness. I want to talk about Dr. Appleton. I was talking to Dr. Appleton, Steve, the other day, talking about the laser away pain treatment, and I did not know this. I did not know this, because I talk about, how the laser away pain treatment has helped me with the arthritis and all these different things and all these different types of things. But do you know that and I did not know this till Dr. Appleton told me over the weekend, that those of you that have been in car accidents, because when you're in a car accident, you get hurt. The laser treatment can treat the injuries and pains that you're suffering from a car accident. And you know what else I learned? I never even thought about this before. There are a lot of people have Uber and Lyft accidents. People getting around by Uber or Lyft, they got all kinds of problems going on. They get in car accidents. A lot of times you get in that Uber and Lyft, you don't put the seatbelt on maybe, or maybe the idiot driver that's been driving too many hours this week got into a fender bender and you've got injuries. But if you have had a slip and fall injury, and I realize my skateboard accidents are that I went in for my shoulder, that's kind of like slip and fall. I slipped off the skateboard and hit the sidewalk. And I didn't realize this. So if you have injuries, whether it's a car accident, you fell at home, or any other type of injury, the laser treatment works. Give Dr. Appleton a call. Now remember, it's a free consultation with Dr. Appleton. If you have x-rays or scans, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will gladly look them over for you, and appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call. 954-973-0710. I remember about 20 years ago, I got into a major car accident. I didn't know Dr. Appleton then or the laser away pain treatment, and I was really hurting for a long time. So if I ever get in another car accident, I know where I'm going. That's Dr. Appleton. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to put you on hold for a second, Steve. Hold on. All right, you there, Steve?
I'm here, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, well, either do I. The callers are bizarre today. All right.
I mean, I don't have a clock in here. I don't know where.
Well, that's okay. I got track of time. All right, hold on. I'm going to put you on hold for a second. Hold on. All right, you back? Steve?
I'm here.
All right, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but so can everybody else. So, yeah, I can hear you. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Oh, my goodness. The only people that care about the Heritage Foundation are liberals. It's like the new Fred Phelps. They keep going to the Heritage Foundation. Project Esther, Project 2025. Give me a break.
Yes. Haven't heard that in a while.
Making it illegal to criticize Israel. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If we're in the service of Israel, have you gotten the checks from Israel, Steve? I haven't gotten the checks from Israel.
No, I check my box every day.
For the check from Israel.
Hey, honey, did the
Hold
check
on.
from Israel arrive today?
No? All right, hold on.
No check from
All right,
Israel.
stand by. Stand by. I got 1 minute. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane's here. It is the Monday after, and the phones, Steve, the phones are ringing off the hook. So let's. But I got to tell you, I was asking Steve during the break. That last caller says we're in the service of Israel, and I'd asked you, did the check from Israel come? Because I didn't get it the mail came Saturday. I checked. There was no check from Israel.
This week.
Oh my goodness.
This week, yeah.
Oh my goodness! The only people that care what the Heritage Foundation say are the MSNBC crowd. They're irrelevant today. Okay,
What's interesting is they're irrelevant, and so is the whole Democratic Party. This is the worst thing in the world that could have happened to the liberals. If there was any question about whether they're finished, I think what's happened over the weekend puts rest to any questions that might exist.
Yep.
I mean, here they are. This is the ultimate 80-20. And nobody in the world's going to be on their side on this. They're going to go into Congress today with all the liberal senators and congressmen, and they're going to expect we're going to react to this as though it were
exactly.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
But you know what, though?
Yes.
Even on CNN, Van Jones supported Trump on this, and Van Jones is left-wing and everything he is. You get some honest analysis from him. Van Jones said, he used the word progressive, not liberals or Democrats. He says, this is what Van Jones said on Saturday. He says, progressives underestimate the danger that Iran is. So he's trying to get them under control. The fact is, Iran control.
He's in over his head. It can't be done.
Yeah.
This is the kiss of death for the Democrats.
And you know what? The Bush wing of the Republican Party, even Chris Christie was, and Mike Pence were praising Trump's actions, right? Yeah, over the weekend. All right, let's take some of these calls, Steve. And I gotta tell you, the liberal reaction to this on the program today on the phone since 6 a.m. has been strange. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Don from Pompano. I have a question for Steve, and that is, he's Jewish, but he is a Judeo-Christian now, correct?
I don't go for the labels. I don't know how do you define it.
No, I'm asking you if you're a Christian, if you've accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. That's the question.
Yes.
Okay. Now.
So now where do we go from there? You can't, that's just one question.
Okay.
Where do you go from there? Why do you ask?
Okay, because I'm concerned that so many people in Israel and the Middle East both have just rejected the Messiah and the Savior that God sent. Why, if in such a case?
So what? Why are you? You're concerned for my soul? Is what you're prompted you to call?
I am, and I think a lot of the problems that are happening in the Middle East and will never change is because the people on both sides have completely rejected Jesus Christ, and I think that's a big issue. And the other issue that I have, Steve, is that your partner here can't seem to go a segment without using the word anti-Semite. I just challenge him, and I think the last caller, this is what he's trying to say. You cannot go a segment without saying anti-Semite. Even when the topic that you're on has nothing to do with Jewish people, you start with somebody's an anti-Semite. I challenge you to go 1 month without saying that word, okay? Because you overuse it like liberals use the homophobic and xenophobic. You use that word. I predict that, Steve, when the show or Brian moves on from you, what's going to happen is he's become a liberal because he's so, no, I'm serious, he's so intolerant. Anybody who disagrees with him or Trump, they must be canceled. They must be shot down. They must be made fun of. And he's done that to numerous people, like calling people like Tucker Carlson stupid, Ron DeSantis stupid, Candace Owens stupid, when every one of them have a better life than you do, and you have some kind of jealousy towards people that do better than you, and you can't accept the fact that people can have an opinion, but you think you label them anti-Semitic, that it's some big,
okay, now slow down. Okay, now.
There's one thing that doesn't fit.
Okay.
There's one thing.
If
you just take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath.
I am.
Take a breath.
I am.
You don't want to.
Thank you.
Okay. What I want to know is, I hear a lot of crap that you're saying towards Brian. Why are you asking me when you're
because I want to know as a Jewish person, and I asked you as a Jewish person why you accepted Jesus Christ and why so many Jews have not. They've rejected.
What he's saying, Steve, is what he's saying is that. And by the way, Candace Owens, Candace Owens.
Stop with the Candace Owens stuff.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to stop. No, I'm not going to. I'm not. Listen. Slow on for a second. I don't want.
You're not on her level.
Slow down for a second. Slow down for. Excuse me. I let you talk. I let you. Hold on, Candace. I'm going to put a caller. I'm going to disconnect the call if you don't let me talk. I let you go on, and it's. You went on for 5 minutes insulting me.
You're a moron.
Candace.
You're a baby. You can't take it.
Candace. All right. I don't want to be on her level. Over the weekend, Iranian state
television. You're not near as smart as
no one wants to be on that.
Close, dude.
Do you want to be a part of the discussion? I'll hang up. All right. I'm gonna let him go because I'm gonna get this out. Over the weekend, Steve, Iranian state television was sharing Candace Owens statements on their state television supporting their cause against Israel in the United States. Who wants to be on that level? Now, so far as that last caller, what he was saying and his anti-Semitism, which I was trying to get out, but he wouldn't let me get a word in. What he said, Steve, is the Jews deserve what they get because they're not Christians. He says they've rejected Christ. So what's happening to them is because they've rejected Christ. Right? That's why it's not Iran's not the problem. It's the Jews. It's their own fault. So no.
I don't know. You made more sense out of what he said than
He said that what is happening to them is happening because, unlike you, Steve, they have not accepted Jesus. So this is the wrath of Jesus on them because he said rejected Christ. And let me tell you something.
He didn't sound very much like a Christian to me.
No, let me tell you this about that guy. And I wanted to have a conversation with him, and I let him go on for about 5 minutes.
You tried.
I let him insult me for 5 minutes so I could come in at the end and have a discussion, and he couldn't complain that I didn't let him talk. But I don't believe anything that guy said is true about himself, okay? That rhetoric he said about the Jews, he said Israel, this is happening to them because they reject Christ. That's what the Nazis said, word for word, okay? Mm-hmm. And what you got with that guy is you've got a fake conservative who's pretending to be a MAGA guy, who's pretending to be a Republican, and saying terribly anti-Semitic things. That's what you got going on there. Everything about that guy was fake. And I would
no question of that.
And I let you go on for 5 minutes saying terrible things about me so that I could have a discussion with you. I know you're out there listening, but when I did, you're not going to say it. Don't. Tucker Carlson isn't stupid. Ron DeSantis did something very stupid. That was opposed Trump in the primary. Candace Owens is stupid. She's a useful idiot. She's a very good speaker, right? She's very charismatic and good looking. And she's used that to become famous and everything. But when what you're saying about this war is being used by Iranian state television to show that, look, in America, they don't support this. Look at what Candace Owens says. You're a useful idiot and a stupid person.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we made the mistake of giving them too much time.
Yeah.
And
well, I want to tell you guys, though, about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. And the doorbell camera, this is such a great thing to have, guys. It's a great thing to get as a gift for your mom, your dad, grandma, grandpa, or even your adult kids that are living out on their own. Because, you got the doorbell camera, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, your son, your daughter, they get a notification on their phone anytime there's movement at the door. And, a lot of you guys know my wife's disabled. It's not easy for her to go and see who's at the door, okay? But she can see on her cell phone every time there's movement at the door. And you can get a doorbell camera from Sloman's for free with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Here's the number, toll-free, 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. Give them a call. We'll be right back. Oh, my goodness.
Are you there?
Yeah, but everybody can hear you, so you know. Why, you need to talk to me off the air?
No, it's all right. After the show.
Okay. Yeah, the anti-Semites are coming out of the woodwork, I tell you.
Yeah. What time is it, by the way?
It is 8:30. It is 8:30.
Okay. Try to keep the clock in my head.
Well, the next break will be Youngerman. It'll be about 1:45. I mean, you heard the last two, the one guy, they're going to make it illegal to criticize Israel. This guy, this is happening to them because they reject Christ,
Yeah.
I mean, the anti-Semites are coming out of the woodwork. I mean, it's and wants me to go for a month without calling somebody an anti-Semite. I mean, my goodness, there are two people. That's why I started saying there's two people that are against. Two types of people that are against what Trump did over the weekend. Trump haters and Jew haters. Those are the two that are against it. That's it. I mean, even Mike Pence is praising Trump, and Chris Christie.
Oh, I saw that. Was that a trip?
Yeah, he's not getting back in, though. Screw him. He's in a jerk.
Oh, you don't be a grudge holder. Come on.
Against
it's time
Pence?
for peace.
With Pence?
He did an apology yesterday.
Man,
Got to give people a chance to get back in.
no. He doesn't get back in.
Well, you're a grudge carrier. That's
That's for
right.
against him, absolutely. Okay, we'll be back soon. Minute and a half, we'll be back. It doesn't surprise me that an anti-Semite doesn't want us to say anti-Semite on the air. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I never realized you said, I guess I did. You're such a grudge carrier.
Against Mike Pence? Yes, Steve. I'll never trust that guy. I would trust Ron DeSantis before I would trust Mike Pence.
Well, Ron DeSantis is another example of somebody who won't forgive.
We just can't trust him. How could you trust Ron DeSantis? He lied to us. He's fake MAGA. He hates Trump. He only pretended to like him. All right, hold on. We got less than a minute. We'll be back. Hold on. I'm going to put you on hold for a second, Steve. All right, Steve, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I got you. Stand by. It's not a grudge. There's people you can't trust. That's all. You can't trust Pence. You can't trust DeSantis. Can't trust Nikki Haley. Can't trust Chris Christie.
Chris Christie. Agree with you on Chris Christie.
All right, hold on. Here, we're coming back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. Hey, Steve, during the next break, can you go check the mailbox to see if that check from the Jews came? It's. All right, let's go.
Oh, boy.
I'll check my mailbox after the show. I'll call you to see if it came. All right, let's go back to the phones. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you today? Well, I tell you what, I think something that I really have paid a lot of attention to in the last several months, if you are a student of military campaigns, what you are being, and I don't use the word treated to, you are looking at spectacular intel being done, strikes being done, everything from kneecapping proxies from Iran who are attacking Israel before they can even get going, to a superpower coming in and just dropping the hammer on Iran there. The way this has been managed and set up, it's incredible. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. I remember the raid on Entebbe. I thought was spectacular how they did it and everything. But what we have witnessed in the last month, I think, is it's almost out of this world.
Well, look at what happened. Okay, with this strike, no leaks, because they didn't tell the Democrats.
Yes.
You know, if they think about this, they did tell Schumer, but then they sequestered him, so he couldn't talk. If no, I don't know about the sequestering part.
Really?
I don't know about that. But but he didn't talk. If they would have told the Democrats, do you think that Tlaib or Ilhan Omar would have let Iran know that the bombers were coming?
Absolutely, they would have had the maps out for them and everything.
Yeah.
And what a sad thing that is.
Yeah.
But you're looking at a small country surrounded by powers who is able to do their intel, take out these powers' proxies before they can even get started. And then you watch a superpower running a major raid like that where nobody knows what we're doing. They didn't even know we had left the airspace after the bombing run, from what I understand.
And they had this whole misinformation campaign about the bombers in Guam, and this technology.
It was meticulously planned. It was just breathtaking, just absolutely breathtaking. And then you got to see the whole future of the Republican Party and of the country as you watch the proceedings go on all weekend. It was incredible. You got the whole team up there. It's put together a monster machine, and they're going to step in.
I mean, I tell you what, that Undersecretary under Pete Hexer, I think he was with, I forget his name. That guy's a brilliant guy, very low-key guy. I saw him in a couple interviews over the weekend. Very sharp guy. But the coordination on this and just working together with Israel, this whole thing, I mean, it was really almost breathtaking.
And it was nice to see the joint.
The team is what's impressive. The team is what's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got his whole next administration. I mean, he's not going to have an administration in all probability. But they're all there ready to step in.
Could you imagine if Kamala had won? And could you imagine if Kamala's defense secretary and chairman of the Joint Chiefs had a press conference? One of them would have been a guy in a dress. You know that.
Well, not to
You know.
wax religious, but that shows there is a God.
Oh.
Talk about miracles. Well, how about that prior Secretary of Defense they had, the guy that wouldn't even tell people he was going for surgery?
Lloyd Austin.
Nobody knew where he was.
Lloyd Austin. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But no, this is something. You know, listen, I watched the news all weekend. All these pundits that were and they're doing these debates about, well, they didn't tell the Democrat. They did tell Schumer, but they didn't tell the Democrat leadership. The reason they didn't is because it's not just leakers. They have spies. There are Muslim spies at senior levels in the Democrat Party, and you can't tell these people that we're going to bomb Iran, or they would let them know. And nobody wants to say it, but that's the reason. That's why Trump didn't tell them in his first term when they took out Soleimani. He didn't tell them for the same reason.
How about if we had changed out the head of the Joint Chiefs?
Oh.
And got Raising Cane, that other guy, he would have called them too.
I would not mess with Raising Cane. Raising Cane does not mess around. He is he's scary.
Does not. I mean, he is spectacular. Trump, he's an eye for talent and people that he can trust and people that are with him. And he really is. And you talk about managing this whole military campaign, and on Israel's side too, the management of this, the intel done, the flawless carrying out of the plans has really been it's been awesome. It's really been awesome, and we have some brilliant people there, so it's great to see.
All right.
Thank God, like I said, thank God we have them too.
All right, Brian, take care.
Thank you, guys.
Good to talk to you. All right, let's squeeze in another one here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
John Okeechobee.
Hey, John.
Hey,
John, what's up?
I got something on the side a little bit. I wonder how the Israeli intelligence is so excellent. They must have human access or human.
Well, probably because there's a lot. The Middle Eastern people, they probably have a lot of embedded spies inside Iran.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question, John. You used to call us a lot years ago, and we didn't hear from you for a long time. Okay, and you're back regular again, and you've had some health issues. I just assumed you passed on, but I'm glad you're still with us.
I broke my hip and then I broke it again.
Oh.
After I got it fixed, and holy crap, took about 6 months out of my life.
Oh.
Good God.
Oh, okay, well, I'm glad you're doing well. It's good to hear from you again. They couldn't help you with that breathing issue you have, though.
Yeah, well, that'll be forever.
Yeah. All right, I appreciate the call. This is an important point to be made, though, with the Democrats. You look at the way the Democrats are reacting to Jasmine Crockett as an example. She put a 25-minute video up online over the weekend griping that Trump didn't let her know that he was going to bomb Iran.
Right.
Yeah. And
I love that.
Didn't you love this? And I mean, it's so incoherent. And you look at the state of the Democrats have always been dysfunctional and wrong, but there's no Tip O'Neill. You know what I mean? They don't have a single credible person in their party anymore.
Well, they've just lost everything. They've lost all credibility. They've got no party. They've got no chance. They're hysterical.
Yeah. I mean, you look at this group. What's happened to the Democrat Party? It's just a ragtag group of activists that have gotten elected to offices around the country. They're not really
activists and lunatics.
Yeah, and they're really I wouldn't even say they're a political party anymore, because I'm watching them react over the weekend. They're children, morons, a bunch of stupid people.
They just don't get it.
No.
And this is a prime example.
Yeah. But Steve, this if the Iranians respond like they're talking about shutting down the Gulf, remove all this stuff, Trump's going to wipe them out. I mean, he's going to wipe them out.
Absolutely.
finding it hard to believe they're that stupid, but I think you're right. There's no question of that.
Well,
the stage is set.
Well, here's the thing. The Ayatollah is in his 80s, and he's a religious zealot. And the way I was talking about this earlier, I kind of look at the Ayatollah, he's like a crazed cult leader. He's like a David Koresh type. He's at the end of his life. He sees losing everything, and he's ready to go down. You know what I mean? And they're being run by a crazy man. And I saw this little story, Steve, on Sky News Australia over the weekend that I've not heard reported anywhere else. Sky News Australia is very credible, very conservative, even though it's in Australia. And they had a report that senior military people that the Ayatollah handed over some authority to senior leaders of the military. I don't see that nutbag handing over anything to anyone that involves authority. And it sounds like maybe there's the beginnings of a coup going on over there in Iran. And
what I did read was that he appointed his successor.
And who wants to be the successor? That's just telling Trump where to send the bombs. Who wants that? Nobody wants to be the successor to that. I mean, if you're the successor, you're dead man walking. Who wants that? And if you notice
if that's true, then we're in good shape. If that's true.
Yeah, and the Shaw, the new Shaw, the son of the last reigning Shaw, he was on Fox over the weekend. You're seeing him more and more. So there's a big. Trump used this yesterday, and so did the Shaw. Make Iran great again is a new catchphrase they're trying to get going.
I love it. That was cute.
And you can tell they're making the moves for a coup, but they want it to at least look like it's an internal regime change.
When you see the hats, you'll know that it's about to happen.
But it'll be in. What do they speak in Iran? Persian. It'll be in Persian. How do you spell the acronym for?
You just change the make.
Yeah, but they don't use they have different letters in Persian. I don't know what MAGA looks like in Persian, and then they change the A with the I don't know, but I do know this. Yeah, MIG, like MIG, like a MIG jet, MIGA, MIG. Overemphasize the M, Steve. Okay, just to be on the safe side. Overemphasize the M if you say it. You think I'm kidding? Okay, now, yeah, oh boy, yes. Yeah, they speak Farsi over there. If you have not gotten a MyPillow yet, this is your time. They got the best deal yet, Steve, on the MyPillow. I've been sleeping on a MyPillow for about 10 years. And before that, I was getting just rotten night's sleep for years. I tried everything. I got foam pillows. I got the down pillows with the feathers in it, but I'm allergic to the feathers. I got this bamboo pillow from Brookstone. It cost $200. They all sucked. And my wife got me the original MyPillow about 10 years ago. I still sleep on that pillow, and I've been sleeping all night long, every night. And, that patented fill that Mike Lindell invented that's inside of his pillows, what that does, when you put your head down on the pillow, your head and neck rest perfectly, so you don't toss or turn all night. Your head and neck stay in place. Even if you're tossing and turning and you don't know you've woken up, you have, and you're interrupting that REM sleep. And with the MyPillow, your REM sleep is not interrupted. And this is the best deal right now, Steve. Listen to this. With our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, the MyPillow that started it all, just $17.98. Just $17.98. I paid $65 for mine 10 years ago. And it's the same pillow. And now you can get it for $17.98 with our promo code Kane.
What a deal.
Yeah. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. The kids are coming home from school. Get the kids the MyPillow and, to take back to college with them. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold so I can get William. Okay, hold on. Hey there, stand by. We got just over a minute. Hold on. All right. Steve, you there?
I am.
All right, stand by. Oh. Hold on, Steve.
Oh.
Oh. Steve, you there?
You got me?
Yeah, okay, I'm going to conference in William, so stand by. All right, William, stand by. 10 seconds.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. It is Monday, and that means we're going to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the first gold and precious metals report of the new week. William Youngerman, how are the metals starting the week off?
Metals are, well, the white metals are up and the gold is down slightly on a stronger U.S. dollar this morning. Last week we saw gold close out the week at $3,367, which was down $4.40 on Friday after trading in a range of $33.39 all the way up to $33.74. Silver closed out the week down 45 cents on Friday at $35.93 the ounce, while platinum was down $13 at $12.66. And palladium gained $9 at $1,047. This morning we've seen gold trading in a range of $33.48 all the way up to $33.90. Right now we're at $33.59, as I said, on a stronger U.S. dollar. Gold down $8. Silver $36 the ounce, up 7 cents. Platinum gaining $22 at $1,287 the ounce, and palladium up $23 at $1,070. So the industrial metals up nicely. Gold holding very nicely above $3,300, and having a hard time getting up and through the all-time high of $3,500, but doing very well.
Absolutely. Now listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. And remember, William Youngerman doesn't just sell the metals, he buys them. So if you have anything made of the metals, you'd like to turn it into cash, or maybe take that old broken jewelry or whatever you have and turn it into coins, you can do that too. He opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop by at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Or give him a call toll free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll touch base tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care, take care. Trying to figure out, is that your dog, Steve, or it could be William's dog?
It's my dog.
It's your dog? Oh, okay.
My producer is supposed to be watching.
Your dog, okay. Hopefully it turns out better than the last dog. All right, let's go back. All right, let's go back to the phone, Steve. The phones on this Monday. If you've noticed, we've talked to quite a few liberals today. Not one of them has been normal. Just to say, I mean, they've all had different dysfunctions and different focuses.
Look, give them a break. They've been through a tough time, and things are going to get worse before they get better for them.
You missed the foreskin caller. You missed that one.
Oh. Tell me about that.
Off the air. I don't want to go through that again on the air. Oh my goodness, it was a bit bizarre. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. This is David in Royal Palm.
Hey, David.
Hey, Dave.
I was just going to say, if you can sift through the fake news, it at least seems like the Iranian people are really happy about what's going on. And do you think that if that's true, they'll be smart enough to stay away from a religious government?
I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. I see all these people on television saying that, but where are people seeing happy Iranians? that support
Exactly.
us. I don't know if that's true or not. You know, there's what's happening. I hope it's true. You know, but the Islamic Revolution happened like 46 years ago. So pretty much everyone in Iran knows no life other than that. So I don't assume that they support us or Israel. I don't get. But what's going on now is, and I'm for the undoing of the Islamics, the Ayatollah's government, but there's a PR war beginning for a coup and a regime change, and they're making a move to put in the son of the last reigning Shah, who's the heir, the king of Iran, the Shah of Iran. He was on, I can't remember if it was Fox or Fox Business over the weekend. I've seen him on some other things, and even he was saying, make Iran great again, you know. There's a big move to have a coup and bring in the Shah. And and that's why they keep saying things like you're saying.
But it's difficult to get a read on how they're doing.
Well, there's no way to know. It's all made up.
Well, you got to read between the lines.
Yeah, caller?
You know, fake news. Yeah, it's just, on the fake news, it's just hard to tell. And hopefully they won't put Pahlavi, I think his name is, back in. Another one. They got to get rid of the past and move on.
Well, here's the thing. The original Shah was put in power by the CIA.
Right.
We backed a revolution back. I think it was in the 50s we backed the revolution that put him in. I could be
52.
Yeah.
52. I think it was 52.
Yeah, and if I remember, so and I mentioned this a few times. The new Shah, his daughter just married a Jewish guy. You really think that the Iranian people are going to accept a Shah whose son-in-law is a Jew? I just can't imagine. And it was a high-profile wedding. That's how I know about it. There's not going to be any acceptance of that in Iran. They may put him back in power, but it's going to be a problem. I mean, my goodness, even in this country, the liberals can't handle Jared Kushner because, President Trump's son-in-law is a Jew. They go nuts. Could you imagine what the Iranians would do if they had the Shah back in power with a son-in-law who's a Jew? My goodness.
Well, yeah, but what you're not taking into consideration is Donald Trump. Donald, before this is over, I can see him building a new version of the Vegas Strip to welcome the new government.
Yeah, but they've had almost 50...
You're laughing, but I'm telling you that Donald is always thinking 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, no.
I agree.
No, the people on television, they keep telling us that the Iranian people back us in Israel. That's CIA propaganda. I hope it's true, and I'd like to see... The problem in the Middle East is all Iran. They like to blame Israel. It's not Israel. The problem is Iran. We're friends with all these other countries, even Syria. President Trump just was in Syria with that ex-terrorist that runs the joint now. You know, the only country we have any beef with is Iran. The entire Middle East problem is because of the Iranian government.
And who is representing us in this battle that's going on?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah, sure you know. Donald Trump.
Oh, us. Oh, you mean the United States? Yeah, I know. Yes. All right, caller, I give you the last word.
Where did all your faith go?
I've got faith, but he's not in Iran.
Well, hopefully go back. I believe his name is Pahlavi, the son, and hopefully they'll dodge all that. They'll dodge and get somebody that's a little bit more sane, you know. And
listen. Look at, if you've been listening to the show today, there's been liberal call after liberal caller that's anti-Semitic, right? The guy that was giving me a hard time about Candace Owens, the guy that was talking about the Heritage Foundation, they're going to make it illegal to criticize Israel. You know, if there's so much anti-Semitism in this country, can you imagine how much anti-Semitism is among the Iranian people? Okay, and I'm sorry to tell you, 45 years they've lived under this Iranian regime. They don't know another way. So it's not. I don't believe that they're on our side over there. That doesn't mean they don't want to have freedom, but it doesn't mean that they're on our side.
Yeah, they want freedom. So get rid of Pahlavi so they can keep it this time.
They got to have somebody in charge. Somebody's got to run the joint. But this story I saw about the Shaw handing over some authority to the military, he didn't hand anything over. They took it. And a lot of the military heads are dead. So whoever's running the military now doesn't want to be dead, right? So they may be making some moves to have a coup over there. And I think putting the Shaw back in power would be a disaster, because the last Shaw was a disaster. And he was really a terrible guy. He was not a freedom-loving guy.
But Brian, there's one thing I don't get. I'm thinking of this whole show this morning. I don't understand why half of you, I'm hearing, has great faith in Donald and the direction things are going, and Donald is the mastermind behind this, which I, by the way, agree with. But when it comes down to how it's going to play out, you don't seem to give Donald any credit for being the power that's going to make this thing.
No. But he's not.
Donald got us this far. He'll get us the rest of the way.
I have total faith in Trump. But he's But listen, caller, we got to run, caller. Yeah, it does. But he's not in Iran, running Iran. But I do want to tell everyone about the incredible special going on at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Okay, they got, I was talking to Steve. I go get my coffee every morning, and there's this group of joggers, and most of them are overweight people, and they're killing themselves with this jogging. And with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I lost about a pound a day. I lost 37 pounds. I'm back to the weight I was when I got married 29 years ago. Okay, and I'm just in the maintain phase now. I could lose more, but I'm where I want to be. And I see these people that are running, I don't know how many miles every day. It's 5 in the morning. They're out there running. The thing with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, since I didn't exercise, I didn't take any medications, and I was eating foods I would normally eat, the maintaining phase is easy, right? If I would have had to make these lifestyle changes where I had to exercise like every day or 4 days a week or whatever, or eat awful food or no food or be hungry all the time, when I stopped, I would gain the weight back. But because with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, it wasn't involving big lifestyle changes like that, the maintaining is easy. It's not a problem. I haven't gained any of the weight back. I lost it. I got to my target, and I've stayed there. And there's a July 4th special. Now, this is for new patients only, but this is a great deal. Listen to this, 20% off. Now, this special ends July 7th, so call and take advantage of it, okay? Here's the number, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, that's all the time we have for today. If you're on hold, stand by. You'll be first in line tomorrow morning at 6. But the liberals are totally unglued. And you know why? The Trump derangement syndrome has manifested itself with our callers today, because we're winning and Trump's doing such a great job. Oh boy, maybe we'll get a coherent liberal tomorrow, Steve. We don't have to use the dump button on or
anything's possible.
Yeah. All right, listen, this is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Steve Kane has been here. My name is Brian Craig. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America, and God bless our favorite president, Donald Trump. See you tomorrow. All right, guys, listen, if you are new, make sure you subscribe, okay? And don't forget, great deal on the MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com and order yours. Just $17.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. And there's a link in the description of the video to my MyPillow page. And remember, you can use my promo code Kane on all the specials at MyPillow.com, not just the ones that I talk about, all right? Okay, guys, take care. I'll have a new podcast later today, so keep an eye out.